Hey everybody, welcome to the Jim Masters Show live. How are you and you and you? It is Tuesday, even though for me it feels like it's a Friday. I don't know why. I think because with my professional work, I am off for the next 3-4 days. So it is sort of like my Friday today. The work hat is off. The television and radio shoots and shows are completed for this particular week. So we're off tomorrow and Thanksgiving Day and Friday. And it feels really good. And I hope you guys are doing well. I know a lot of people are preparing for Thanksgiving holiday coming up. There are some people traveling. We are staying close to home, which our family and relatives are doing as well, pretty much. Everybody's staying close to home. We're taking a look at what we're going to be doing for Christmas and things of that nature. Hopefully, we'll be able to get together. We want to get down to Florida with everybody, which we have been doing. Growing up, we didn't do that. We spent our Christmases, Thanksgivings in New York with our families, and then sometimes we'd come up to Connecticut and Massachusetts. But the last few years, since our folks and others have moved to Florida, we go down there, which isn't too shabby in the dead of winter. But we're hoping that we'll be able to do that. Whatever you're doing for your Thanksgiving, and we're going to have our Thanksgiving dinner, and we're going to have a really nice time here with folks here. But hope you have a blessed and very happy Thanksgiving as well. Welcome, everybody. If this is your first time, I'm your host, Jim Masters. This is a entertainment lifestyle talk show series patterned sort of after Jack Parr, Dick Cavett, David Susskind, Mike Douglas, Merv Griffin, Johnny Carson, bringing back the lost art of conversation with entertainment and feature segments and on location segments and a lot of levity. And as we always say, light, love, and levity. That's right. Levity put together is levity on our show. And you guys fell in love with that word. So we use that all the time to represent the feeling and vibes, the good-natured vibes of a really cool show and the community we've created here. It's like 30 plus weeks of episodes we've done every single day, just about over 200 episodes, and it's truly absolutely amazing. So thanks to all of you for the love and the support by watching and tagging and sharing and loving and spreading the good word, all the amazing guests, all the phenomenal viewers, and or as we call you, Lovities, and you guys call me Mr. Levity. We welcome all of you and we toast all of you as well. Now, our guest is from New York, where I'm originally from. She's also from Long Island, where I'm originally from as well, which is not part of New York City, even though you might think it is. It's totally detached. It's 180 miles long, ending at Orient Point and the North Fork, Montauk Point at the end, the Hamptons, North Shore, South Shore, really beautiful. Further east you go, it looks like Cape Cod. So we're from that originally, that beautiful area. And it's part of actually New York State. It's next to the city, but it looks like it's part of the city, but it's actually part of New York State with Nassau and Suffolk County. So she's there. So I'm using this glass tonight for my great friend Kathleen Walker, who's in New York, in Queens, New York. I call her the Queen of Queens, dear friend. We were on the Rachel Ray show together. And this is that New York Mets, maybe you can sort of see the logo there. For the birthday, she gave me their official wine glass. We just have some lemonade in it, some Trader Joe's lemonade. I got to have Trader Joe's as a sponsor. I keep mentioning them all the time with these drinks and foods and things. But I'm doing the New York Mets glass versus the other martini glass because we're celebrating New York today with a very special guest, CINDI Sansone-BRAFF. Now, she's amazing. Her title of things that she has accomplished in her life is probably longer than even this screen would be able to fit. Playwright, and author and director, choreographer, dancer, theatrical agent, relationship coach, psychic, and medium as well. One of the best. And we were just talking about some of that as well. We were talking about some of our background in entertainment and the arts. And we were also talking about astrology, tarot cards, and psychic work that she really, really loves doing. And she's renowned. She's award-winning. She's noted for all of these categories. And in just a second, we're going to welcome her to the show. We welcome all of you. Our cast of characters are here. And we say thank you for joining us. And let's welcome some of our incredible guests. If you have any questions, of course, you can post them. We're on YouTube right now, live at Jim Masters TV. And we're also on Facebook right now at Jim Masters TV. So, of course, we say hello to all the Lovities from all of us at the Jim Masters Show live on Facebook and on YouTube tonight. Christine Clifton is here from North Carolina. Greetings, Jim and lovely friends. Tonight we welcome the Romance Whisperer. We'll define what that is in just a second. Author, playwright, CINDI Sansone-BRAFF to the show. Looking forward to a great conversation in Lovety Hall. Absolutely, Christine, it's good to see you as well. Also watching on YouTube on our Jim Masters TV channel, we have Mary Bishop from Florida. Hi, Jim and Loveties. Looking forward to another great show. Absolutely. Kathy Short from Cleveland. Good evening, Jim and Loveties. Wanted to check in. Good to have you with us as well. Yes, definitely do that, Kathy. Hi, Jim and all Loveties from Canada with love from Merlin. Christopher Joseph is here. Hello, all Loveties, Jim Masters and CINDI. Good to see you, Christopher. Pamela Perkle is here. Hi, Jim. Glad to be here. And we're happy to have you here as well, Pamela. Thanks for joining us. And Ann Wozniak is here. Good evening, Jim and everyone. Happy Tuesday to you as well, Ann. Always nice when you're here. From the United Kingdom, from Avril, Britain, we have hi, Jim, and all the Loveties. Happy Tuesday to you. Hope you're all well. You as well. We love when you tune in from the United Kingdom, from Hampshire there in England. And now we go to South Africa, and Juanita is here reporting for duty. Hello, Jim, and all the lovely Loveties. Good to see you, Juanita. And Ann Harriskin from Southern California. Hello, everybody. Have a very blessed day. You as well, Ann. Bernadette Vidal is here. She is reporting for duty as well. Hello, Jim and Loveties. Good to see you, Bernadette, from San Diego, California, in Lovety Hall. Good evening, Mr. Lovety and all Loveties. We welcome you as well, and looking forward to a captivating show. It's going to be Dante CD, and we are very happy to have you here. And Kathleen Walker is here. Hi, Jim. Didn't have a good day, so you're looking for some extra Lovety. And I know, the holidays are here and Thanksgiving, and your mom just recently passed, Kathleen. So maybe between my, levity and CINDI here, we might be able to provide some additional solace as well. And Renee as well. Hi, everyone. We're supposed to be at church helping decorate it for Christmas, but your dad fell and broke his hip. Sent to another hospital for surgery. You can't go. Well, sorry to hear that, Renee. Blessings to your family and to your dad. Fingers crossed, and hopefully we will provide some sense of solace while we're all here together in Lovety Hall. And that's what we're all about, right? We're one big group here of Loveties. I hope he does well, Renee. Absolutely. Everybody's saying that as well. Jill Jason's here. Hi, Jim. Hi, CINDI. Hi, everyone. Looking forward to a great show. XOXO. Jill, absolutely. And Jill, I wrote you back too. So I'm eager to hear some of those cool ideas you're talking about. Allison says, you're looking good. What do you have plans for Thanksgiving and Christmas? Christmas, we are hoping to get to Florida to see family. That we are working towards, if everything can happen that way. Usually this time of the year, we would drive down because of all the holiday packages. And so we're thinking about that. Hopefully, I would get tested first or something. Well, it's a whole new world we're in. Maureen says, cheers, lovelies. And here's to a great evening. With Thanksgiving, we're all staying close to home here. That's what a lot of the family is doing. I love that. Good evening, Jim and lovely family from Karen in Nova Scotia. Absolutely. And we've got more love coming from Maureen. Cheers, Loveties. Here's to a great evening. Absolutely. And good stuff. Hugs to you, Kathleen, from Maureen, and Pamela and Ann, also sending love to Renee. And you laid your father's brother to rest yesterday. Not a good week. And on Thanksgiving week as well. So we are here for you, Renee and Kathleen. This is the place where, while we're together here, we'll try to put some sense of solace in your life here, and maybe some smiles if possible. But let's do that by welcoming my very special guest to the show, CINDI Sansone-BRAFF. She's quite amazing, and she is somebody who you're going to take to her right away. She's got a great personality. Theatrical background. She loves people. She's a caring person. She and I are similar caretaker types. The Romance Whisperer. She talks with the dead to show you how to live well and love better. She's an author, playwright, a relationship coach, mystic, medium, tarot, therapist. Newsday, which is the very well-known newspaper in New York on Long Island, has recommended her as one of the top psychic mediums in New York on Long Island. And she won the Long Island Press Best of Long Island contest in the psychic category 5 years in a row over the last, and this is hard to believe that long. We were talking about our careers in these industries. For Cindy, over the last 40 years, she's been a professional children's entertainer, dancer, choreographer, director, playwright, and theatrical agent. And during this time, she's performed in and or directed more than 10,000 shows, including a summer-long dance concert sponsored by the city of New York and several university productions. Performing at Lincoln Center was the highlight of her dance career. She's taught creative writing, playwriting, drama, dance, fitness classes, and many continuing education programs in New York on Long Island. And her full-length dramatic play, A Whole Empty House, was a finalist in the Robert A. Forrest playwriting competition. Her full-length romantic comedy, Angels, Mice, and Men, was a finalist in Lodi's National New Play Contest and Theater Festival, and was produced at New York Summer Fest as well, the theater festival in summer of 2019 at the Hudson Guild Theater in New York City. It's also being published in 2021. Her full-length dramatic play, Phantom Pain, was a finalist in the Playwrights Center's Play Lab program in Minneapolis. She's also written a full-length play entitled Beethoven's. This is really cool. I'm going to tease that a little bit. I want her, because we have a clip, so I won't mention that yet. I will mention that when she comes on. It's really cool. I saw a clip. Cindy is also a respected theater critic for East Hampton Patch. She graduated with honors from the University of Connecticut and Stores, receiving a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree with a major in acting and directing and playwriting and more. She's also the author of Grant Me a Higher Love, How to Go from the Relationship from Hell to One That's Heaven Sent by Scaling the Ladder of Love as well. And we'll talk about that. And her latest book, Why Good People Can't Leave Bad Relationships, Letting Go of Your 6 So-Called Good Traits That Keep You Tied to the Devil, You Know. Much more. Wow, this is going to be a great conversation. Without further ado, let's welcome Cindy live and direct from, as we say, the island. Cindy, welcome.
I'm exhausted when you read all that.
I tell you, I know, huh?
I'm like,
and that's
I
just
did
the short
all that.
list. That's not even all of it. That's just the short list.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I've been a person that hasn't watched a lot of television.
Well, you got the welcomes coming in here. Here comes the love. Now, I hope I tell all the guests they're going to welcome you as a, well, no, already. He said you're a lovity. Not only are you a lovity.
Thank you.
Danilo in San Diego says, welcome, Cindy, to Lovity Hall. You are now a full-fledged lovity.
Oh, that is great.
And full-fledged as well. Pledged and fledged.
Well, I have this book, this big book, 579 pages about love. I think I'm a lovity.
Have you ever done an audio book with the books as well?
Yeah, Grant Me a Higher Love is now being an audio book, but the Why Good People Can't Leave Bad Relationships has been an audio book. It sells a lot around the world.
Imagine.
We have a lot of Great Britain, so
yes,
that's a good thing.
That's right. That's right. Anne says, welcome, Cindy. Looking forward to hearing all about you. That's from Ann Wozniak. And Kathleen Walker in New York, not having a good day today. Welcome, Cindy. Her mother,
Kathleen.
Just a few weeks ago, well, about a month ago, her mother passed, and her father's also already gone. So it's a tough, she asked a question of somebody else, how to deal, on our show, there was a guest, how to deal with those firsts. It's the first Thanksgiving, the first holidays, the first everything now without her mother. So we'll maybe get to that and talk a little bit about that. Natasha's here. Yay, Cindy is awesome. Welcome, Natasha. Thanks for joining us on the show. I am your host, Jim Masters, and I do this work professionally as a TV, radio personality, presenter, host, journalist, actor, writer, producer, stage MC. And we launched this show 30 weeks ago, and so happy to have you here, Natasha. And Merlin, welcome Cindy to Lovity Hall. She's in Canada. Juanita in South Africa. Welcome to the show, Cindy. That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah, lots of love and lots of lovity. And hello, Jim, from Bruce Bryan in California. Nice to see you, Bruce, as well. Bernadette said they lost their her mom last year, so she
Oh,
understands Kathleen's. There's a few people actually watching tonight who have had recent losses, or there's some illnesses, there's things happening. Welcome, Cindy Mary Bishop in Florida, and Renee, who
oh,
again, her uncle was just buried yesterday, and now her father fell down as it's going into surgery. She's in Iowa, and she's actually taking, these are Lovities, going through all of
oh,
that, and yet she is welcoming you to the show as
oh,
well, which
that's
is
so sweet.
beautiful.
Thank you
And
so much.
Bernadette welcomes you as well, and lots of love, lots of levity on this show. Welcome. How are you? How are you doing? Jill welcomes you as well. Hi, Cindy. Welcome. XOXO from Jill. So you've got an official levity welcome here, my friend.
Wow, I really needed that today. I
Did
just
you?
love, yeah, I don't
Tough
know.
day or
No,
crazy
I
day?
just think we're kind of isolated a bit. And although I try to stay connected and I have lots of clients, I haven't stopped working, but you still feel like it's nice to just engage with people that you don't know. We can't really see strangers anymore, or people that,
Right.
we could make friends. So I think this is great. And
Yeah.
people need to stay connected. That's for sure.
Marilyn Hammond in Wichita, Kansas. Welcome, Cindy, to
Oh,
Levity
wow.
Hall. Christine Clifton, North Carolina. Welcome, Cindy, to the Jim Master Show Live. You are now a Levity. Thanks for being with us tonight. And Bernadette says, we are a loving community. We support each other. Don't we? Don't we? That is the truth.
Wow.
So you have had quite the career too. Tell us about some of those early, inspirations. First, really for you, and you and I were chatting about this before we went live on the air. Um, as far as the psychic medium part of your life, you had sort of an understanding and appreciation of it earlier, yet didn't feel, and I thought this is fascinating, that you're so authentic and real that you just didn't feel ready to incorporate that into your day-to-day life. So maybe sort of put it on pause, but then it sort of swept back and almost became inevitable that you embraced it and applied it to your life, right? Tell us about that.
Well, as a child, I don't think I had any experiences that were extraordinary. I mean, my childhood was kind of difficult. So I think just dealing with the living humans was enough, let alone talking to dead. So I
Yeah,
think, it was scary
there's
enough.
truth to that.
So, but when I was about 19 and I was at the University of Connecticut, I, misused, I guess, what was psychic ability twice because I had this ability to see people's weaknesses and sort of nuke them. And I realized that's not what it's for. So after I saw the devastation that I caused these people, and they probably deserved it. I'm not saying they were nice people, but the point is, I don't think that's what psychic ability is for. So I kind of said, whatever this is, shut it off. I'm not ready for it. I can't handle it. And maybe later on, when I am able to handle it, you could bring it back. And so it took a full 20 years almost for it to come back
Wow.
at all.
Wow.
So it
And
was,
how did you recognize when it was coming back? What were the signs for you?
well, it first started a little bit weird because I was asked to do a psychic party. Okay. And, and they wanted me to do it. And I'd never done this before. So I'm like, why are you asking me to do a psychic party? I don't know what that's about. So I studied a little bit, studied tarot cards, read a lot of books, but I still didn't feel like really like I was good at it. But I turned out to be good at it. So it was one of those things that the universe sort of tricked me into doing it. And at first, I just did it for fun. I didn't do it to really believe in it. So now I believe in it, but then I didn't at all. So
Mm.
that's how it worked for me.
But before that, this illustrious career in entertainment and as a performer, as a producer, a director, coming right out of the University of Connecticut with the BFA. Tell us about that, some of the passions you've had for the entertainment industry and the amazing things that you've had an opportunity to either create and or be a part of.
Well, when I was a theater major, I really was passionate about that. And so I didn't know how I was going to make a living with it, though. Being a theater major is one of those things, either you're going to make a lot of money or you're not going to make a lot of money. So I actually started a children's entertainment company back in the 80s when my daughter was 3 years old. I saw a really bad clown. I mean, really, really bad clown. And I decided I could probably create better entertainment
I
than that.
bet.
Yeah. And so I did. I started to be the princess characters like Cinderella or Snow White or, different things. I did puppet shows and it just started flying. And people would ask me, "Are you making any money?" And I'd say, "Yeah, a little bit." I didn't really want people to know how great this industry was. Now it's a huge industry.
Yeah.
It's a huge industry. And it was very hard to do though, because back then it's not like now where you could go online and you could get costumes and we had to make the costumes or so that was hard. Um, Also, there was no GPSs, and I used to travel from one end of the island to the other, and it would take me literally 5 hours to map how to get from one place to the next.
And
I
that's
would
just trying to get from Plainview to Comac.
Yeah, and it would be because I would do 8 shows in a day. So I would really go from Manhattan to Montauk and
Yeah.
have to find the shortest routes and really map it. Because if you came late, a children's party is 2 hours long. You come late, you might as well come the wrong day.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this was something that, was really hard to do. So now it's a little bit easier, but, it was exhausting. And the children were wonderful, though. I have to admit, the children were wonderful and I loved it.
Mm.
And, I also was a professional belly dancer. So my costume changes were tricky. I would be in the car changing. Now, I didn't have a van. So I would do these like really fast changes. And that was difficult to change from a belly dancer to a clown and to Cinderella. So I found that to be the hardest part of the job, is just really changing into the costumes.
Mm.
So it was interesting, it was fun. It was very hard, because
Yeah.
of that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
remember, you're out in the heat with costumes on and doing so many shows. But it probably got me to know more about people than anything else, because I would do parties for very wealthy people, very poor people, some of the worst neighborhoods in East New York. People would tell me I'm crazy to go into there. And I'd be like, it's not a crime to be poor. And children
Right.
have a right to have Cinderella come there. And
Right.
I would go in there and I felt very divinely protected. One time I was actually afraid to go out of the car because there were eight wild dogs circling my car. And I could always tell how bad the neighborhood was by how big the pack of wild dogs was. So I'm afraid to get out of the car at this moment. And then, suddenly they sort of dispersed. And this man came out who was actually a rabbi, an Ethiopian rabbi. And he came out and he said, "Do you need me to walk you to where you're going?" And I said, "That would be wonderful." And he walked me and he said, "When will you be finished?" And I told him, and he said, "I'll walk you out." And I said, "But you have a service to do. You can, there are people who are in your synagogue waiting for you." He says, "No, that's fine. When you come out, I'll come get you." And so I felt so guided whenever I was there. But, so I wouldn't have been able to ever meet people the extreme amount that I met and the kinds
Mm.
of people that I met. So that was the fun part about it, for sure.
Mm. And Christopher says, "Hi, Cindy. You're so very
I
inspirational
don't know about
too."
that. I don't
But
know about that, but
then you really started to get into, some pretty large productions, and I mean, things
oh
just
yeah.
started growing. Tell us about that progression from the children's parties, and then, I mean, choreographer, dancer, theatrical agent. You have all of these different things, all still tied. It's
Into the
everything that you
entertainment world.
do, and everything you do, including the psychic medium work, is all to touch people's lives, to inspire them,
Exactly.
to lift them, and put them in touch with the human spirit and the human condition in a beautiful way. So it's all, everything you do, all these different hats, kind of like me too, with all the hats I will wear literally tonight. Um, it's all tied together, and it's really it's a representation of the essence of who Cindy is inside.
Right. And then as a belly dancer, my dance troupe got this big commission from the city of New York to do belly dancing in the parks in New York. And so it was great. We'd be in Forest Park and there'd be children and grown-ups. And, we really brought ethnic dancing though. So it wasn't just like the cabaret belly dancing that you would think of.
Right.
we did snake dancing and sword dancing and cane dancing and basket dancing and all of these wonderful things that we were able to bring. And it was Bess Meyerson. I don't know if you remember who she
Oh,
was, but
yeah. She
she
was a
is
consumer reporter at one time
right.
on Channel 2 News. And then wasn't she also not Miss New York, but she was
She
involved
was
in,
Miss America or
yeah,
something,
that's
right?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Miss
right.
America. And so she just loved this and she just embraced it. And then we did the universities. We danced at Hofstra University, LaGuardia College. And it was really fun to bring this ethnic group. And one time we were in a park and the music wasn't working. Like, how can we do it? And here we're doing Middle Eastern music. And there was the National Guard was not too far away doing something that day. And so they played on their speakers this Middle Eastern music. So you can imagine here we are, like during this, the war in Afghanistan and Iraq and all of that. We were just doing this wonderful dance with the National Guard there. So that was like the best. That was an exciting moment for us. So, um, all of that. Doing the universities is a great thing to do too, because we brought something that I don't think a lot of people had really understood before,
Right.
and how beautiful the culture is, and how beautiful the dances were. And I still dance now for fun. I don't dance it professionally, but I find when I'm having a bad day, just putting on the music relaxes me, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
loved it, and I love it a lot. So then, I would also teach creative writing and things for kids, and that was another way that I would produce shows with those groups of people. We would write plays, and the kids were usually not the best kids that they gave me to teach, because it was an after school program, and nobody wanted to teach these kids. Okay. And I'm like 22 out of college and need a job. And the kids are like saying to me, we're going to give you a really hard time. Okay.
Oh, so
And
they already told you
yeah,
that.
they
Yeah.
already told me that. And I was like, look, you got to be here and I got to be here. I got to make money and you have to be here. So we can choose to not do anything and you could choose to give me a hard time, but I can't leave. I can't afford to leave. I'm going to tell you right now. So the kids kind of heard me, and I said, we're going to write a sitcom. And we wrote one kind of like All in the Family, based on All in the Family.
Hmm.
And they did such a great job of it. And when it was performed for all of the students, and these kids that were normally bad got
Yeah.
all of this praise and how great it was. But on the way to doing that sitcom was difficult because they didn't want to learn how to write, point
Mm,
blank. And
yeah.
so I would teach them in a creative way how to punctuate a sentence that no one taught them before. You could use a colon, you could use a comma, you could make it two sentences, you could use semicolon. And they would say, can we curse? And I'd be like, I don't really care. You could curse as long as it's grammatically correct. So at first, every sentence had 1,000 curses in it, and they think I'm going to be shocked.
Yeah.
I grew up with 3 older brothers. Nothing shocks me. So
So,
it's like,
yeah.
write whatever you want. So first it was the curses. Then after a while, they started to legitimately write, but I thought they were really trying to break me down, but they didn't. And so we came to see eye to eye a little bit. And, even now I'll hear from them sometimes how that was like the best class they ever took. And, they know how to use a semicolon and nobody else knows how to use one. So it's things that, those are the kinds of shows that I would do, things like that sometimes as well. So my experience was a little bit of this and a little bit of that to put the food on the table.
What would you say as your progression? And we're going to talk about, I know that the psychic medium part at a great length too. And we've got some incredible video of her doing her thing as well. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to post them on our Facebook page right now live, or the YouTube channel at Jim Masters TV as well. Some of the larger works and productions that you're most proud of that you've had an opportunity to be
Yeah,
involved in as well.
sure. The Beethoven is my best. Okay. That's my Beethoven's Promethean Concerto in C minor without opus. Okay. And what does without opus means? Well, a lot of Beethoven songs aren't numbered. So I made this play one of his things that weren't numbered. And when I wrote this play, now you have to understand, I'm not a musician. I know nothing about classical music. I like it, but I don't know much about it. I didn't know a thing about Beethoven. So I was watching the movie Immortal Beloved. Are you familiar with that movie at all?
Yes, but familiarize the audience in case they're
Okay.
not.
Immortal Beloved was supposedly a movie about this mysterious woman that Beethoven wrote these 3 love letters to. And they're not dated and there's no name on it. So no one knew who it was. And in this particular movie, the person they named who it was, Beethoven didn't particularly like. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but I'm watching the movie. And yes, I'm a psychic medium at that point. And I don't usually channel dead people. Okay. I don't run around saying Elvis talks to me and, JFK. Okay. I'm not one of those psychics. Okay. But I'm watching this movie, trying to relax. And Beethoven keeps telling me, this is wrong. These facts are wrong. No, this is terrible. All I wanted was someone to tell the truth about my life. Okay.
Right.
And after a while, I'm saying, come on, just let me watch the movie. And,
Yeah.
and I promised Beethoven if he would shut up, that I would later on do some homework and some research and see if what he's saying is accurate. So I did. And then I realized that a lot of what they had written in that movie was not correct. And at that point, that's when I said, okay, now I'm going to do a little homework. And Beethoven channeled through me for 4 years. I read probably 30 books, listened to hundreds of hours of his music, and tried to figure out who the real Immortal Beloved was in his eyes. And I came to believe it was Josephine. And Josephine was a woman who was a countess, and he had met her when he was very young. And I figured out it started much younger than people thought, because he has a lot of longing music where he's very sad. And so when I figured out it was Josephine, it took me almost 4 years. And then someone gave me a very old encyclopedia that was from like 1900 and had a little thing about Beethoven in it. And in that encyclopedia, it said it was Josephine. That's the only place I'd ever seen it before then. But now I found out that in Europe, they tend to believe it was Josephine as well. And so he wanted me to write him. I'm like, why are you picking me if I'm not a musicologist and I don't have a doctorate in music? Like, I'm kind of the wrong person to pick for this play. Okay. And he said, no, you'll understand my soul. And that's what I want, is my soul to come through. And that's why after 4 years, when I gave it to a man who was a conductor of a philharmonic on Long Island, and I didn't tell him anything about me. And I was just thinking, this might be good for your theater. And of course, he said, we have no money to do this. It would be wonderful. We have no money to do it. And of course, I would have done it really cheaply the way I did it. But back then, he didn't want to do it. But he said to me, do you have a doctorate in music? I said, no. He said, are you a musician? And I said, no. And he said, I have never seen anyone understand Beethoven's music the way you do. And I didn't, back then, I was really reluctant to mix I'm a psychic with I'm a playwright, because I don't know, people think you got to be one thing or another.
Or the other, right?
You can't be both. So I didn't say anything. But yeah, I did hundreds of hours of research. It took me 4 years to write this play. And I had a disaster during the writing of it, by the way.
Did you really?
Disaster. 4 years I'm writing this play, and I have 4 years of research in a word processor back then, because I wrote this play more than 20 years ago. Okay, so then there wasn't internet the way it was now, so I wrote it online. And one day I hit a button, and it deleted 4 years of work. And I didn't have any of this printed, nothing. Imagine losing 4 years of work, gone. My daughter was sleeping at the time. I howled like an injured animal. Yeah. I screamed and howled and cried.
Yeah.
Like you have never seen anybody
significant do. Loss too.
And I said, that's it. I am not doing this. And then I heard the voice of Beethoven say this: you've been working for 4 years and you don't have a play. You've got a lot of research. You've got all this knowledge, but you don't have a play. There's not a play there. I don't see a play there. So You have to try to construct and remember as much as you can. And you know where all the research is. So you're going to sit here for the next 8 hours and you're just going to write down a play. You're going to have to give it a structure, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're going to have to. So what I did was place it. I found the place, the time, take place in 24 hours. I figured place it at the day that his nephew tried to kill himself, which was a very significant event for him. And from there, I had a play. So it wasn't bad, but it was terrifying, actually. So I believe Spirit made me just erase all that work because I wasn't getting a play out of it.
And I believe we have a clip right here of that, right?
Oh, wow.
Do you want to preface?
Okay, this is the end of the play. Okay, this is the last few minutes. And Beethoven has just decided the whole play is to be or not to be. And Beethoven talks about all the times he wanted to kill himself, including when his immortal beloved left him, including when he went deaf. And this is the day that his nephew has just tried to kill himself. So he goes up to this mountaintop where he's written some pastoral and some other things and where he's oftentimes gone. And he's spent the night and day thinking about his life. And this is the end when he decides what he can do and go back to see his nephew and figure out how to put his life back together.
All right, let's take a look. You're going to enjoy this, folks. It's amazing. Sit back, get ready to enjoy. And then we'll be back with more. We have got an incredible show in store for you as we're continuing. Welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live. Your host, Jim Masters, and our very special guest, CINDI Sansone-BRAFF. Here we go. A little Beethoven coming your way.
I grieve knowing I shan't live long enough to hear a complete performance of my high mass. I shall long be rotted in the grave before God hears the collective voice of mankind sing Agnus Dei, Titolis Peccatum Mundi, Dona Nobis Pacem.
your unexpected visit on the 8th of April, 1818, Ninona's 5th birthday.
It's my reward.
Regretfully, I never sent these words to you, though God knows I should have. Language fails me. How do I find the words to describe the unfathomable musings of the soul? You, me, blessed with your musical notes, have discovered an all-embracing way to do so. As for me, I can only express myself in phrases, pauses, beats and pieces, and only on those fleeting occasions like today, when I can find the inner peace to do so. Tearing myself away from the earthly prison surrounding me, in those precious, solitary moments, our very souls commune, silently, secretly, serenely, always off in the shadows, only there do you and I, we still exist. I would not have scribbled these words today had I not hoped to honor your request, your deepest desire, your heartfelt wish. Oh, your surprised appearance aroused such ethereal feelings in me, so deep and tender, that mere words cannot do them justice. None of us truly has the ability to comprehend why we do what we do, say, act upon, or deny. When we were as one, the Almighty was in the breast of each of us. The stars in heaven above, also parts of each of us. But once thrust apart, broken and unhinged, we continually spiral downward into darkness. Today, we stood eye to eye, heartbeat to heartbeat, breath to breath, witnessing what we had individually, separately, collectively annihilated. Happy, sadly, you are not. Etherized, embalmed, empty and longing, you have been living in a perpetual state of sorrow. The book of life that houses our remembrances often reveals itself to you. Sometimes in stark black and white, often in varying shades of gray, now and again in flaming colors. And you have perused this book, studied it, judged it, dissected it piece by piece, with God as your witness. And you have drawn from all of those scarred memories, jewel after jewel after jewel, gifting these precious gems to the world. To become one with each other, we must first become one with the Almighty. This endless longing for oneness is the only truth. All else, worthless, formless, nothingness. Thankfully, we are heading toward the sacred resting place where eternal union can be possible. Why, I have asked myself over and over again, hasn't my very soul, my immortal soul, utterly and completely manifested itself to you? I fathom that our spirit's shortcoming is that it cannot.
Mm, very nice, very nice. And everybody loving it too. I don't know if you saw some of
I
the,
did.
that was
And
definite levity on the Jim Masters show for sure.
and also, like, to explain a little bit, everyone said this is impossible to do because the chorus that we needed to do for his Missa Solemnis, which is his mass, his Catholic mass that Beethoven never heard because he was deaf by then. And the church refused to do it because they said it had too much rhythm and people might move a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
So
God forbid.
right. So it didn't get done. And what happened was they said, you can't possibly do this with 7 people. You need a chorus of like 50 to pull that off. Now, we had a budget and we had, like, limited money here. So it was like, well, we're going to have to do it with the amount of people we have. And they were amazing, the chorus. They were able to pull it off, although everyone said we couldn't do it. And so that was the hard part about it. And I did Josephine to save costs. I just didn't have money for another actress. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to be Josephine. That'll just save a little money here and there. So it was an enormous task to produce because there were something like 150 sound cues, and we had to find all public domain music for Beethoven. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was going
Copyright.
oh
Yeah.
my God, it was going, and some of it was not the best. So we
Yeah.
had to keep looking till we could find better. And then we had to create a few of the pieces because we couldn't find any that wasn't non-copyrighted. So it was a lot of work. And my musical director, Debbie Tony, did a fabulous job on it. And so it was really done with a skeletal cast. I was the director, and we had a musical director. We had a sound person and a light person and the cast, and that was it. So we had to do everything: costumes, sets, everything. So
Yeah.
it was an enormous task.
That was a full-on production, and a
Uh-huh.
brilliant idea too. Really a brilliant idea. Kudos and congratulations.
Thank you. And what I was the best part about it is we had people from all walks of life, just people that never knew Beethoven, people that
Right.
knew Beethoven, and they all seemed to relate to Beethoven. They felt like they really got to know the man by the end of the evening. And Michael Brinzer, who portrayed Beethoven, by the way, had 45 pages of dialogue. Okay. And it was huge monologues that he
That's
did.
a lot. Yeah.
Okay. And what stunned the audience was because Michael was on air for the first 45 minutes of the first act. In the second act, he plays Moonlight Sonata as a monologue about the death of his mother and how hard it was for him, because everyone forgets that when biographers do things about men, they forget how much the death of a mother will affect him. He lost his brothers and his sister, when they were babies. And he does this very moving monologue about, the family and the deaths. And when he was playing, people were just stunned because they didn't have any idea that Michael could also play the piano. So that was what was amazing. He was just an amazingly talented human being. And that's why they had to give him a standing ovation. Nobody could believe how he could learn all those lines and not miss. I think he didn't even miss a line, this guy. Like, it was incredible.
Has he moved on to other productions,
Yes,
Broadway and other things?
Yeah, and he did the national tour of the Cinderella, because he's a musician. So he really played the music, and he was doing very well. And he actually went to Vienna to see Beethoven's grave, which I found interesting. And
that's amazing.
Later on, but he's a very talented guy with such a promising future. And he was just amazing. It was just him and I working as the director. So it wasn't so exciting for him. Like, he didn't work with the whole cast, which is usually the most fun. But so that was how that play came to be.
So there's also the Long Island medium, and we have, and that phrase actually, I think, is known across the country. How did you get that? I mean, obviously being a medium from Long Island, but there's a lot to that. People were referred to. I've heard it even in conversations. Oh yeah, have you ever met the Long Island medium? Do you know the Long Island medium? Oh, I saw her, or I had a session or whatever. Tell us about that part of your life too, as the psychic, as the medium, as you know.
I'm like the Long Island psychic medium.
Right.
Okay. that part of my life kind of I was very tricked into it. As I was saying,
Yeah.
someone tricked me into doing their child's bar mitzvah. So I'm an avid researcher. I don't fake anything. So I
Right.
could have probably faked it. I could have just put a gypsy costume on and faked it, but that's not my gig. So I thought I'll read one book, but it's so fascinating. So once I read one book, I found myself reading 14 books. As a writer, it's absolutely fascinating, tarot. It has symbolism in it, dream symbolism, mythology, everything that you could imagine is in tarot cards. So studying that was the most fascinating part that I ever did. And after I read about 14 books, I realized, every book says the cards mean something different than this book says. This one says it means this one says it means that. So after a while, I just started meditating on the cards and said it means what I think it means. And that's how I came up with the meanings for the cards. And when I'm doing the bar mitzvah, mind you, I'm kind of like Whoopi Goldberg and Ghosts, because I'm like, this works. I mean, I had no idea this worked.
Yeah.
And so after that, as an entertainer, I said, oh, this is another gig I could add to my, repertoire. And I did a lot of bar mitzvahs and christenings and birthday parties and all kinds of events like that, psychic fairs. But it took about 5 years for me to start developing private clients. And then it started to really grow. And, and I sort of heard spirit tell me, okay, Cindy, you don't want to do the children's parties anymore. You don't want to do the belly dancing. You don't do any of that anymore. Why don't you just close up that business and do the psychic full time? Now, that's a wonderful thought, except I need money. Like, am I going to be able to make enough of a living with this? And I said, if you want me to do this, I don't mind, but you're going to have to help me.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's when a few days later, Newsday named me as one of the best psychic mediums on Long Island, and my business flew. So spirit wanted it, obviously. So, I have the clients around the world, and it's been fascinating. The volume of knowledge that I've acquired from talking to thousands of people. And that's how I was able to become a relationship coach, because most people come for psychics, believe it or not, for relationship advice.
Yeah, right.
So I started to do a lot of research on that. And then this whole concept called the ladder of love was channeled to me. And it's a fascinating concept. And it was love, not all love is created equal. That's what it basically comes down to.
Right.
So if you visualize love like a ladder, and you have soulmate at the very top of the ladder of love, and that's someone that you have a recognition factor with, you have a heart, soul, mind, body connection. It's this 4-point knock your socks off kind of connection. And 45% of people are offered this creature called soulmate, but only 1% maintain it. It starts dragging down the ladder of love. So if we go down the ladder, we have mediocre love. It's kind of like the old arranged marriages, or my eggs are old. You go on Match.com, find somebody so you can get married. It's mediocre. It's never a great love affair. But if you've never had a soulmate, sometimes it would seem like a great love affair. Go down the ladder of love to narcissistic rung. That's what a lot of young people seem to play on now. Tinder, get one, throw her away. So that's not the best level of love at all. And go down, and I call it cellmate or toxic love. So any love can go down the ladder of love. Soulmate can become toxic, cellmate. Mostly soulmate becomes mediocre. People just start taking each other for granted over time. So love goes up and down a ladder. And we have to figure out where were we up, where do we start on the ladder of love? If it's only a mediocre love to begin with, sometimes it's hard to fix that. It was never great to begin with. So if it's a soulmate, we can always fix that. So with my clients, I have to figure out where their love started, where it's gone down to, and how to fix it. So that's what I work with. And of course, we can't bring back love up to soulmate if someone's an unfixable human being. And that's kind of hard for people to comprehend, that some people are just unfixable in this life.
It is, especially if you're, like you and I talked about, the caretaker types, where you're hoping, you try different strategies, try different ways to penetrate or try to, and at some people it just, it's not that you give up on them. It's just that, what is it? They have to find it for themselves, or
fix themselves. And That's where a lot of people are the fixers. We think if we love people enough, give them enough chances, we're going to fix them. How does it work for you? It hasn't worked for me. I'll tell you that right now. And
Not
there's
really.
there's words how
And
I
then sometimes they get mad if you do it, and then they,
oh yeah.
then they don't like you.
Well, how I describe it unfixable is it's a person who's a manipulator. Okay, they're
Mm,
highly manipulative people, which means
yeah,
they push your guilt buttons. They make
sure.
you feel bad. Okay, they're
Yeah,
manipulators. They're highly
yeah,
judgmental of others.
true.
It's
Yeah.
never their fault. It's never their fault. And they're never accountable. They judge others. They're not accountable, and they
They never say
manipulate others.
sorry. They never apologize.
It's never their fault. And those three traits in a person over the age of 25, when brain chemistry starts getting solid, get really hard to fix. Okay, so you got to figure out who's fixable and who's not. And love goes up and down the ladder. Okay,
Yes,
and
that's right.
so sometimes I'll have to tell someone, I can't bring this back up the ladder of love because I can't fix that person. The best you can do is you're going to shut the hell up for the rest of your life, and it's going to be mediocre. And
Yeah.
it's not a good prognosis for your health to shut up for your whole life. It's not good. Stuff down anger is a nice recipe for all kinds of diseases. So let's not do that. So we have to determine if someone's fixable or if they're not. Now, of course, there's always a 10% chance anybody could be fixable, but they have to earn a miracle. I've lived long enough to see that a lot of these people don't earn miracles. They really don't. Their behaviors, they just manipulate. Manipulation does not earn you a miracle. So it's figuring out who's fixable, who's not. Don't waste your time. If people have addictions on top of those traits, it's a really low prognosis of changing for the better. So that's what we have to determine oftentimes. And this is like 2020, year of clear vision. So this is the year that the universe wants your blinders off and your rose-colored glasses off, and to see people for who they are, not for who we want them to be. And it's been a painful year for a lot of people. Being in a foxhole with someone you're not loving or someone who's difficult is really ending a lot of relationships because they're just realizing this person is murder on its
What that leads me to a great question. How do you summarize it? What are the vibes? What is your feeling about everything we've been dealing with in this uncharted year of 2020? How are you, not that you can summarize it because it's still in progress too,
Right.
but what are some of the vibes, the feeling, the energy that you're feeling about all of this while there's all this chaos and death and loss and confusion and fighting and bickering and divisiveness and all that? It's like this curtain has opened on every aspect of our lives, and it's touched upon financial and health and relationships and civil unrest and politics, and everything you think of has been thrown right at all of us in one 12-month period. Any one of those would be enough to have to handle in a lifetime, but all of it together. What do you think the message is? What's happening if you think there's anything that is a message or anything that's happening underneath? Is something rising? Is something ending? Something beginning? Or all of the above?
Exactly. It's a year in which what was channeled to me is pause. God paused the world. Okay, paused it a little bit. He wants us to choose again and reset. Like everything you do now has to be thought about. We distract a lot in this world. People go gambling, they go drinking, they go here, they go there. They're always running. And now if you're going to go to a casino or if you're going to go to a bar, you better think, is it worth getting sick? Is it worth dying? Is it worth bringing home illness to someone? So it's a year of thinking before you just run and do things. Okay. So God's hoping that when you stop the world for a certain amount of time, you break bad habits. And maybe we're going to start some new habits. Maybe we're going to not run here or there every second. We're going to think before we do. It's also just think about your life. Where is it going? We were on treadmills constantly and never stopping. And, women have to work now, men work. And teenagers have been left alone a lot, and they really can't be left alone. Okay, you can leave a 10-year-old alone for a few minutes. They're going to eat popcorn and watch the TV and probably do their homework. A 13-year-old, oh no, mom's gone, dad's gone, party time. We're just gonna have
Video games and yeah.
we're just gonna go crazy. So the universe has brought technology up to snuff. We're all learning how to use Zoom and YouTube and things that nobody knew how to use before. And now maybe people don't have to commute all the time from Long Island to Manhattan or these 2-hour commutes every day. Maybe we can work a few days from the home. So you can be there with your children, see them when they walk in the door, check out, are they stoned? What are they, what is going on? Look at them when they walk in the door, maybe have dinner together. By maybe not having to go in every day now, maybe 2 days a week or 3 days a week gives us time for dinner together, time for people to get an extra hour's sleep, time to work out or do the things that people need to do. So I think at the end of it, the universe brought us up to use technology the way we should have been using it all along, to make life easier, not harder. And so I think that's going to be a good thing ultimately. My clients that have lost jobs during COVID oftentimes didn't like the job. And sometimes the universe says, I'm getting you out of something you don't like anyway. So find something different.
So there's a lot of opportunity here.
Tons of, and just even thinking about for 3 months between March and June, all of us thought we could have died. That's how bad this was. We didn't know how bad it was. If you're going to, die, if your family members are going to die. So, sometimes we like to think of death as something far off, something that's, not today, not tomorrow.
No,
What kind of death right here, right in our face? Like, if you were going to die tomorrow, were you happy with who you're with the job you're doing? Do you think that you accomplished what you should have? Are you being the best person you could be? Did you love the way you should? So this is something that we were all supposed to be kept on the cross for a little while. You can't just keep people on a cross for a short period of time. They really take a long time to learn. So it's going to take probably a full 2 years to reset the whole world. Maybe next October, November, pandemics take a full 2 years. And then we're going to go back out in the world. And maybe we're going to go back out differently with more consciousness, more mindfulness, because everything we do has to have a little mindfulness to it now. And so you have to look at the universe as a compassionate being. It doesn't just give us things just to punish us, just to say, isn't this awful? Okay. It's there to teach us lessons. And this is a collective lesson. The universe would have hoped that humanity had a common enemy, Corona, that maybe we would have banded together as humanity to help each other. We expect it to be divisions of people, and that's what it did. It divided a lot of people on the whole issue of, is it real? Is it not real? Should we wear a mask? That's not exactly what the universe had hoped, although it's all good. Maybe it's just revealing we need dialogue. We need to learn how to communicate. We need righteous anger, which means we need to just deal with facts. No name calling. Stop with the name calling. That is just terrible. You don't call people names, okay? You don't attack them. You address the ideas or the issues, and you talk about them and you listen as well. So maybe we've gotten so bad with not listening that maybe this is God's way of saying you got to learn to listen a little bit, because this is getting too out of hand. People in their own household have war over this.
No.
I mean, if you can't make peace in your own home and in your own house, how is it going to be peace in the world?
And now you have social media where people arguing, unfriending each other and all of that, huh?
Crazy. And so this is a year that we have to think about where you want to go, what you want to do, what makes you happy. And we can use it as better. For me as a playwright, I've never had more works done on Zoom and readings than ever in my life. So for me, it's been great. I've just found another medium. So figure out, can you use what's happening to learn something, to master something, to do something different, and break out of our patterns. We've been stuck in certain patterns and just been on that treadmill. So look at it as being in some ways a brilliant thing. And of course, we all hope it's over with sooner than later. But there are definite lessons for each person in COVID. And if you were to look at your life, you would see it. Are you spending your time with people you want to spend? A lot of my clients would be saying it's wonderful. Suddenly they don't have to see people they don't want to see. And they could blame it on COVID. Yeah, so
It's just I never liked you.
right.
And COVID.
Right. And so now I don't have to see you. So there's a lot of lessons, and I'm really hoping that people try to see the lessons in COVID.
Well, I keep saying, and I've said it multiple times on this show, I think we were already starting to social distance before we had to social distance, because we had our heads stuck on our cell phones.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody was stuck on social media watching what everybody else is doing. And we weren't communicating, and people were saying, where's all the respectful people, where's the civility? Where's the thank you, the please? Where's the empathy and the kindness? Everybody was complaining about the lack of it and the erosion of it. And then boom, 2020 comes, start of a new decade. And then all of this happens, one thing after the next. Each thing seems larger than the next. Throw in a couple of natural weather disasters and occurrences and just the earth spinning a certain way. All these things happening at once. Like you said, I think it was some sort of a message that said, stop, enough. You're killing each other. You're tearing each other apart. You're destroying the land. This is not what we created this earth for. So it was like a combining of a meeting of the divine Mother Nature and the energy of earth saying, you better knock it off, because if we want to end this, we can end it right now. So we're going to give you a shot. We're going to give you another chance to reboot, refresh, regroup, look. And if there's things you were doing that you didn't like, well, here's a shot to, move on to things that are truly your passions, the things you've wanted to do. If there's relationships that aren't working, you can give it a shot to repair them. If they're not repairable or just, then maybe there's other options. There's all these things with all the loss and all of the sadness and all of the horrificness of all of this. There's also some beautiful things. I mean, there are people who are entrepreneurs. There's people that are making masks. There's people that are creating things, doing things. And I think it's also a window for those people who are empathetic, those people who are friendly or caring or good-hearted souls, to say, you know what? There's a window here. This might be the only chance we get to sort of come out and spread some of that sunshine before that Venus flytrap closes again, maybe in a few years when, the hullabaloo sort of settles. Here's our chance to come out and hopefully bring things together and unify, and not in a Pollyanna way, but in an understanding of the fact that we're all in here together. We all have something to give. We all have something to say, and we should listen as well as speak. I mean, somebody's yelling and screaming and speaking. We're only surrounding ourselves with the reinforcing voices that reinforce our opinion, and that doesn't get us anywhere. I'm somebody who's always been benefit of the doubt. Give somebody a shot. Let's see if it works for me. It works for me. If it doesn't, well, that doesn't mean that, unless they're doing something that is hurtful to others, hurtful to themselves, then maybe I'll speak up. But if it's something where it's just not for me, I'm not going to destroy that person, tear them down, or ruin them and attack them and judge them. That's pathetic to me. Because there's things that you do that you bring to the table, and things you do, and when different viewpoints. And when we come to the table, wow, what a cake we can bake, huh?
And that's try to see the lessons. They're very different for every person. If you're not in a relationship, the universe is saying, well, you kept saying, next year I'm going to go find love. Well, God said, now you can't find love. You should have been finding it when you could. If it's always next year, next time, next year, maybe it's do it now. Like, do what you need to do now, what you can do now, because there's a lot of stuff you can't do.
Right.
So look at the lesson for your life and try to learn, so that when the world resets and you get back in there, it's a better place for you and hopefully for the world in general.
I want to show a clip. We have Long Island psychic medium from, I believe, this one from Cablevision. Tell us a little bit about this one here. This is amazing. So they can see you actually doing your thing.
Yeah, this was quite some time ago. And it's funny because when Cablevision was selling Cablevision.
Yeah.
They put a video up. They put my video up that was like on the page about their sales. I'm like, wow. So they had called me, and it was around Halloween, that they wanted to come and do a little segment on me and what it's like to be a psychic medium. And so I had just kind of moved into my new house, and the girl who came was just lovely. And I got to, enjoy doing that part of it, but it gave a little glimpse into how I do a reading, where I do the readings. And so people might find it interesting. That's a video that's probably got 11,000 views now. For some reason, people just watch that video.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for sharing. We're going to share it with our illustrious international worldwide audience here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Any questions you have, you can post them on Facebook or YouTube while we're live right now with our very special guest, CINDI Sansone-BRAFF. And here is this clip. You're going to really enjoy it. I was watching it earlier today when we were producing the show. And then we're going to chat more. We got to talk about a few other really cool things. And she's got these 2 amazing books too that we're going to chat about. So we'll do that right after this clip. Take a look and enjoy. Well, it's like, there she is. Do you have any idea what's happening? Any intuitive nature?
Maybe there's too much psychic energy going on, and we just blew it off the air. I don't know.
That's funny. It's there. She just doesn't want to play, but we have a way around that. There's always a way. If you work hard, there's always a way. Right, so we're going to do a manual. We're going to do a manual playing. We have it in the system there, but maybe the file is too large or something. Sometimes, if the file is sizable, it overrides or something. But so Cablevision.
They came and basically did a reading on air, and they were asking me a little bit about how I work and what it's like for me. So I I did the tarot cards for her and did a little bit of a reading. And it was just kind of, I thought it was interesting because it started to make this whole thing a little more mainstream. For years, I was reluctant to tell people what I do for a living. I'm still like not overly enthused if I'm at a party or something, because they have strange reactions to it. Either they want me to read them right then and there. And I am the kind of psychic that when my tarot cards are not in my presence, the deal with the universe is it's off. I don't want to be violating free will, because I'm not supposed to be reading you unless you want me to. And I don't want to violate that. So I can't. Right. I can't. It's off. I want to have a normal life. I want to have a normal conversation with people. And I have to learn my own karmic lessons. So, I think we're going to get this. So, how am I going to learn my own karmic lessons if I'm channeling all day long?
Exactly.
So that's one of the things that it's off. So it looks like it's doing something here.
Here, Kathleen, and again, any questions, folks, feel free to shoot a question. There was one that came in. Merlin in Canada was asking if you were able to read any of the lovities, the viewers, if they came through, if anybody was specifically coming through. Merlin was asking if you had that ability to read them. I know you don't see the people necessarily, although you could see just really their profile photo, but if any energy or if anything.
Well, as soon as the one with Kathleen, who just buried her mom, by the
she
way.
just asked you a question right here too. Do you have to be with the person to
she
read
just, there she pops up at the same moment. I was going to say, Kathleen, her mom made a very smooth transition to the other side, which is something she probably needs to know. But Kathleen was a very good daughter, by the way. And Her mother wanted to say she was a very good daughter. And her mom is a little sentimental because she died right before holiday time. This is a hard time to die, before Thanksgiving, before Christmas, before New Year's. And she probably wished she had one more New Year here, one more year here, but it wasn't in her cards. She's going to give Kathleen a very clear sign, probably fairly soon, because she's just transitioned. It takes a little while for them to learn how to communicate, by the way. It's like learning a foreign language, but she's very peaceful. That's what I'm getting from her. Peaceful, meted and greeted by her mom and her family members, and thanking Kathleen for everything she did at the end of her life. Kathleen was a wonderful daughter. I'm sure that Kathleen knows that she was. She was a good person, her mother. And the hard part about being a good person is we never want to hurt people. And when we die, we cause enormous pain. That is something she didn't want to do. She didn't want to cause this enormous pain. And if Kathleen would, accept that her mom's in a good place, it would really just make her mom's stay a little bit easier. When we're sad, they're sad. She was ready to go. I don't know if Kathleen knows, but her mother was ready to go. That's what she just said to me. She was ready to go. So just keep waiting to get a sign. And what kind of signs do they give? They don't become a cardinal or a butterfly. I know lots of times people say, oh, my mother was a cardinal. She came to me. No, they chase a cardinal from 4 blocks away and bring it over by you. But you might see a cardinal or a butterfly. Sometimes they leave pennies or dimes around. And also through music. They leave a lot of signs through music. So pay attention to that. Kathleen's mother likes television a lot. So she might just come down to earth when she's, they are permitted to come down for a visit, about 100 hours a month. So she's going to come watch some TV as soon as she figures out how to get back here and back up. It takes a little training, but she might just get this inner feeling that her mom's around, and she might get a dream about her. So just know that her mom wants Kathleen to have a Merry Christmas and Happy Thanksgiving. She doesn't want her not to celebrate. So, because her mom seems to love holidays, so she wants her to have a good time with that. So,
right. Yeah. Her mother, very loving, warm, sort of matriarchal, center of the family type of, didn't ask for much, just wants the love of family, and sort of the old school way of just, wants home and hearth and love and family, and would, rather make sure somebody like Kathleen has the new coat rather than her type thing, the way.
She was a very giving person.
And she has a response for you as well.
Oh, and she always watched, and that's what she's just wants you to know, that she never wanted to cause pain on earth. Now imagine the duality of life. The awful people on earth cause us pain every day they're on earth. Okay. They die. We want to throw a parade. They're gone. Good people never want to hurt us. They always want to help us. And then they die and they cause us enormous pain. That is not what she wanted to do. So if you could just be happy, then she's happy. That's all she's saying. Be happy and she's happy. So she's a lovely woman, by the way. She's a lovely for sure, her mother. Okay.
Yeah.
Her mother,
she watched this show often with Kathleen.
Yeah. She called me a lovity from the other side. And she also said to me, I'm a good girl, which is the highest compliment from the other side, by the way. That means you're a good person. So she's also very funny, her mother. Her mother can't believe she's on the air. She's on the show. Like, this is a thrill for her. She gets to be on the show she loves.
Right.
So, who would think? So that was wonderful. And it doesn't seem like a coincidence that this show was scheduled for today and her mom just died. It just seems a little bit like the mom liked the timing of it, So
right.
Believe in divine timing. And also the dead are very funny, by the way. They are so funny.
Are they?
They don't want us to be sad. Sometimes in my life when they're not supposed to be talking to me. Someone will be really messed up and I'm trying to deal with this situation and they'll just say funny things like, this is when we're glad we're dead, like they don't have to deal with these people.
Mhm.
And that's something that you have to crack up.
Mm.
So they're funny. They never try to frighten us or scare us. So sometimes people think they're getting scary stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
that's not from your family. Then, you're watching too much TV that's bad
Yeah.
about, don't watch that stuff. And I love the way Kathleen said that her mom was her best friend
Best friend. She
because
wants her at peace. Yeah.
and again, if we're sad, they're sad. And the sooner that we can, of course, we have to mourn fully for a year. There's no way around that. It's a part of life, the grieving process. But once that year goes by, they
Mm.
prefer us to put it sort of in like a past life. Like we remember them, but it doesn't hurt. We remember them with joy. And that's the most important thing, to remember them with joy. So I don't
Yeah.
think we're going to get that video. So I don't know what happened with that one.
Yeah, we do have it. Yeah,
Oh,
we
you
have it. There's just a beautiful comment coming in, and Linda said that her father passed away October 7th, 1998. I was on my way to South Carolina when he died. Before I could get there, I was on my way there. I never got to tell my dad one more time I loved him. That's always tough when it's either you can't get there in time, or when you get a phone call that's a sudden death and there is no feeling of closure. How do
Well,
you get to the point of closure?
Well, with Linda's dad, let me explain something about Linda's dad, okay? He didn't want to die in front of her. He couldn't die in front of her. So he was kind of told from spirit, go now, okay? Because you're not going to be able to look at your daughter's beautiful face and cross over. You're just going to hang in here longer. And he was in pain, by the way, and he wanted to go. He was ready to go. But if he wanted Linda there, he would have waited. There's not a due date to die today, and then I can't wait a day. They can wait if that's what they want to do. He didn't want to wait there because he could not die in front of her. And this is very common. He was not a selfish person. It's probably the only unselfish thing that man ever did, was to just die when she wasn't there. So believe me, he knows, he hears her goodbyes. But a lot of times I hear this from the other side. They just can't. If you've never caused anyone pain in your entire life, do you want to look in their eyes and cause them the enormous pain that your death is going to cause? So he just said to me, it was one of the probably few selfish things he ever did in his life, was to not wait for her, because
Mhm.
he could not look at her. And he was being guided. If she comes here, then you're not going to die as long as she's here.
So in a way, it could almost be looked at as a blessing or a gift for her that he gave her.
He did. He gave her a gift. And, I saw it with one of my clients whose mother was not dying for a year, and she was in hospice, and they couldn't understand why she's still alive. And they asked me to go visit with her. And I had to ask them a few questions. Is there anything that maybe she's reluctant to cross over about? And I realized that she hadn't seen her son in more than 40 years, that he had never returned to see her. And she was waiting for him. And I had to tell her, he's not coming. I'm sorry, but he's not coming. And she died the next day. She was just waiting and waiting for something that wasn't going to happen, but she was in enormous pain. So we can hang out there longer if we want to. And if you don't get there in time, or you go to the bathroom and then they die, you've been sitting in that room for 20 hours, you finally go to the bathroom or take a shower, and they die. That is not a coincidence. Spirit is telling them, because they can already see the dead. So it's probably their mother or someone telling them, come now, go with us now. So
And you can't blame yourself because
you
you had
can't.
to leave the room for 5 seconds and it happened.
No.
It's not your fault that, right? A lot of people
No.
blame themselves. I should have just waited. I should have just waited.
Why didn't I go there earlier or sooner? And also, older souls are people that are very old souls. They work hard. They do what they have to do. So oftentimes they were taking care of their children or doing their work, or they had to do what they had to do. And then they were going to go visit with their parents. So trust that if they don't die in front of you, it is their choice. It is, again, if they were good people, they know it may seem a little bit selfish, but it's the only way they can go.
Juanita
Now,
in South Africa is moved by what you're saying as well. And Linda is thanking you. And then she also said he went of a quick heart attack. And that's what, like you say, that
it
happened.
just was bet. And also, sometimes, let me tell you what happens. If you have a massive stroke or a heart attack, you get a little bit of, before you die, maybe those few minutes, you got a conversation going on with God, your spirits. And sometimes people say, can I just come back for a little while so I could say goodbye? Can I just come back? And spirit will tell them, well, if you come back, then you're going to be in a medical system. And your family may not be able to pull that plug on you. So if you go back, we can't guarantee that you're not going to be attached to machinery for a year or more. So a lot of them will say, no, just take me then. I don't want to be on a machinery. I don't want my family to have to make that decision. Should I pull the plug or not? So a lot of things are talked about. And sometimes that's just a decision. If they could come back and say goodbye and then, go, they might decide to do that, but there's no guarantee of that. So, the decision is usually made because they don't want to be attached to machinery as well.
You've just explained it for Kathleen, because she said, I always said I should be there the day she died. I was there every other day, but not that one. It makes sense now from the way you described it.
You can imagine that her mother is trying to get me to know that. And you see, Merlin is saying, I told my husband it was okay to pass, and I held his hand in the final moment. That is one of the most unselfish things that she ever did. But an old soul needs you to say, it's okay to go. They don't want to do that. And it's just a wonderful thing. And I'll sometimes have to tell my clients, you have to say it. And they'll look at me and say, I can't say it. I go, you have to say it. It is not fair. They're in pain. They don't want to be here. Like, I can talk to any soul, living or dead. So sometimes they'll come through to me in a coma saying, I don't want to be here. I just need them to say it's okay to go. Can you
I've always feared coma, even for myself, just being maybe such a communicator, laying in a situation where I can hear everything, but I cannot move. I can't blink. I can't respond. I can't. And then I'm just, the only thoughts that I have are the thoughts that are in my own head, and hearing what I'm hearing going on around me. That's a very claustrophobic place to be.
Awful. And again, I have talked to people in comas. I have told people the day these people are going to die, they'll tell me, you have to get the papers in order. You got to get things in order, because I'm going to die on January 22nd. So do what you got to do, but I'm out of here. So it's not as bad as it looks, a coma, because they're 90% up in spirit and they're getting a lot of guidance. So some situations, even dementia, Alzheimer's, is not as bad as it looks, because they are getting life review and guidance. So certain things look worse than they actually are. So oftentimes I've spoken to dementia patients that are still alive, and they have messages, and oftentimes they just want to go. They're ready to go. But they're hanging in there because sometimes people would rather just have their parent or their husband or wife with them, no matter how they are. But that's not how the people feel. So letting them go is like, if you get nothing out of this show, sometimes you're going to have to be the person that says it's okay to go. And
yeah, absolutely.
Those are hard words to say.
Linda asks, can a person hear their loved ones when they pass? I swear I heard my dad call my name. Okay.
Yeah, that is so funny, because I had a client, and she was an older woman, about 80, when she started coming for readings. And she was very upset because her son had died, and she always thought he should call her name out. Like, why doesn't he call my name out? Why doesn't he just say, hi, Mom? And I said, well, they're not really supposed to do that. except if they're just dead and they don't know the rules. So her father had just recently passed and he didn't know the rules. So that's why he called her name. But when this woman died, the day after she died, she called, all her 3 children were in her house, and she called out their names, all 3 of them. Do you know they ran out of the house screaming? They were all terrified. And one of them hasn't been able to go back in the house since. So, yeah. And I told that woman, do not do that anymore because it is not okay. It is. So when her dad did it, it was because he had just crossed over. He didn't know the rules. And he kind of wanted to let her know he's okay. Like he meant well. And I probably didn't scare her very much. But some people get really scared. So, I mean, I don't know if I want to be home alone and people start calling my name, it's scary.
Or like, I mean, I've heard people mention even in our family with relatives with, the washing machine turned on or certain equipment sort of just.
Oh yeah.
Turned on and off by, a stereo started playing and then shut off or something or.
Oh yeah, they play with electronics. They can turn things on and off. They're pretty famous for that. They're really good with autocorrect too. You'll be typing a word and it'll be their name. All of a sudden you're typing their name. It wasn't anything close to their name. How did that correct to their name? So when my dad died, my daughter had to write his obituary, and she had a brand new computer, and she meant to type in lieu of flowers sent to his favorite charity, St. Jude's Children's Hospital. And my dad, it was like a joke, and it was like a dirty joke. Well, it kept autocorrecting to St. Nude's Children's Hospital. Now, only my dad could have made that happen. So she had to leave that new computer, go to her old computer to finally get it to type right. So they usually make us laugh. And you see, Christopher Joseph said, I told my father to go that my mother would take him by the hand to the other side. And that's exactly what happens. They come for you. They say, come. Now, in the hours of our death, if it's not a sudden death, we will be able to, I'm glad she was happy when she heard him call her name, but we tend to be able to see the dead. That's why they're not supposed to manifest to us unless we're dying. It would scare us. I mean, if they suddenly manifest, we think, oh my God, I'm dying. It might give us a heart attack or a stroke.
Yeah.
So when we're dying, we do see them, and they do start to gather round. And it's a very good thing to tell them that their mom's waiting, or their husband, someone that love them, because that person will meet and greet. Or if they loved a dog, because the dogs do come and meet and greet. People have told me the dogs are the ones that they love to follow to the other side. So animals can come, but we're meted and greeted. And Renee just said something about her TV, and they're all telling us these wonderful things. And my father transitioned the hour after I left to go home for an hour break. Of course. That is kind of what they're told to do. So again, look at it as that was the way that they could die. And yes, TVs turn on. They do like really funny things for us.
Yeah.
And those are
does it ever rattle you, the information, the energy you get? Are you ever rattled by it, or do you find it a blessing to be the conduit of it, the facilitator of it?
Well, I deliver really hard messages sometimes. And so there's days when I really don't like doing this for a living. Okay. It's hard, and some of the messages are extremely hard to deliver to people. And I have to deliver them. Like that's part of the deal with the universe. And I remember once I did not want to deliver a message, and I kept saying, telepathically, I'm not delivering it. And telepathically, they kept showing me the consequences of me not telling this person what I needed to tell. And it kept getting worse and worse. And I kept saying, no, I'm not delivering. This person's going to turn on me. She's going to hate me. So I don't want to deliver that message. And finally, the universe said, it's not your decision. You have to deliver it. And I delivered it. And she turned on me. She didn't like the message. It was absolutely accurate. It was truthful. A year later, she called to apologize that she knew the message was delivered and I had no choice but to deliver it. But it isn't, we were talking before the show. We want people to like us. And that woman did not like me. And, I'm just going to make up a name. Say her name was Susan. And I was so rattled by it. And I heard Spirit say, you know, Cindy, just go to the store, go shopping, you know, go buy something. So I went shopping, and something I never do because I really don't have time. And a minute later, someone came up to me and said, "You're not Susan." And I went, "What? You're not Susan." And that was the message that the universe said. You're not Susan. You're not responsible for this delivery of this message. These are the consequences of her actions and things that have been done and the messages. So you're not Susan. You're just the messenger. So it reinforced to me that it was proper to deliver the message, but it's not always easy. It's not easy.
Yeah. Is it like a burden sometimes? Are you overwhelmed and mentally exhausted?
I think I'm pretty good at realizing it's not my pain. Okay. You know,
So you can separate it out.
I have enough of my own pain in my own life.
You can separate it out.
I separate it out for the most part. It's just certain things like, you know, the level of addiction that I've been aware of from what I do for a living. How many young people I've spoken to that have crossed over due to heroin overdoses. And, you know, 19 years ago, I was very vocal about how much heroin was on Long Island and that we have to do something about it. And nobody really listened to me back then. They thought I was nuts. And I was like, no, I'm not talking as a psychic viewpoint. I'm saying you're not going to have enough coffins to bury the young if you don't address this problem. And nobody took it seriously. I drove my husband crazy. All I talked about was heroin. It's not my world. I'm not a heroin addict. It's not in my world. But I just saw the problem. And so the hardest part of my job is talking to all these parents that have buried young children. That's not supposed to be my job. I'm supposed to talk to people that buried their grandmothers or their aging parents. And so delivering these messages is so hard. And, you know, and even sometimes me telling parents what they have to do. Look, your dead mother just told me you have to put that kid in jail. That kid has to stay in jail. You don't leave that kid in jail. That kid's going to be dead. Okay. Please leave him in jail. And they don't leave him in jail and the kid's dead. I mean, these are not messages I want to deliver. This is not the outcome that I wanted. And so these are heavy burdens. These are heavy messages, and it's not to be taken lightly. And again, I deliver them and I hope for the best outcome. It's not, I'm hoping to be the preventer, not the angel of death. I'm trying to prevent these things, but I can't. I'm only a messenger. So I've learned that as a messenger, I do my job to the best of my ability, and that's all I can do at that point.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have the video here.
Good.
That was a nice, I think there was really a beautiful thing we just did with our lovely viewers as they're expressing and opening up about their lives, which they do, which I do, we do, our guests do, all of us in this comfortable environment we created here. And it's a beautiful thing. It's also very cleansing and therapeutic, isn't it? Liberating in so many different ways.
For sure. Absolutely.
So tell us again, for those joining us late, about this video again, the one that is Long Island Medium.
Okay. It was done by Cablevision Neighborhood Journal, probably about 10 years ago. And they came to just interview me as a psychic. And I thought it was wonderful that they wanted to put this on mainstream television and just that it wasn't something that's woo-woo out there, you know, that people could enjoy it.
Right, exactly. And learn from it. And absolutely. So enjoy this, folks. And you get to see a little bit more about our very special guest, CINDI Sansone-BRAFF. Again, as well, a playwright, choreographer, dancer, theatrical agent, you name it, in addition to having these extraordinary powers and gifts as well. Take a look at this, and we'll be back with more in just a second.
Here it goes. Yes. Most of my clients are not your average psychic goers. Hi, Sabrina.
Hi, Cindy.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for having us.
I'm so excited. Come on in. They usually have never had a reading or one every 10 years or so. My clients are very educated. They're very skeptical. You're here for me, but I'm here for you also.
And she was right. I was about to get my first tarot card reading with CINDI Sanson-BRAFF, psychic medium for over 15 years.
Psychic ability is intuition. It's your gut.
Sometimes I feel like it's a little hard to follow my gut.
Okay, that's because you second guess it. Now, what you're going to do is keep a little journal and write down what Sabrina's gut feeling told her. What her mind, what ifing it, what if this happens, what if that happens, what if I should do this, what if I should have done that, oh, maybe I should have done it last week. The what ifing
Right.
that I should have, could have, would have is fear.
Mhm.
So think about, are you following your gut or are you following your fear? Most of the time it's our fear. Trying to think about what will be better in the future. We only know what's best for today. If your gut's telling you, get out of a relationship now, you can't think about what if I can't afford it later on, what if this. If right now you need to do something, you only have today. So learning to trust your gut is the first step in honing your psychic abilities. I don't second guess my gut.
She educates people about the spirit world and helps them when they're at crossroads in their life.
So what I'm able to do is talk to those people who've crossed over. And that's the most exciting part. It's a dialogue between me and you, those people who've crossed over, and your spirit guide.
And Cindy found that she had a very influential spirit guide in her life.
One night I'm sitting there and going, wait, who am I channeling? I just have to know. So in a thought form, because I don't hear voices, I'm not a schizophrenic, okay? I hear a thought form say, Google this quote, one good tarot card reading is worth 20 years of therapy. So, I Google it, and it was Carl Jung.
And it was through Cindy's life experience and knowledge she acquired channeling that allowed her to write her book, Grant Me a Higher Love.
And now, how did you get into all of this?
Just kind of by accident. And then I do believe the universe tricked me. So for me, I was very scientific about it. I was like, okay, show me things, and then I'll go back and read and try to figure out what I'm learning. So I didn't first sit under a bodhi tree waiting for enlightenment and figure out this. I went let's work, let's see what this is, and let's research it. So I believe this is what I was meant to do all along, but it had to be at the right time and the right moment. And so that's why I get the kinds of clients who are like me, skeptical, and like you.
Each tarot card reader works with their own deck.
Now, when I first started doing tarot card reading, I didn't believe in it at all. Well, things started coming through and I started knowing things, and it actually scared me.
Before we started the reading, Cindy gave me some advice.
Suspend your disbelief for half an hour. Like when you watch a movie, you're watching a science fiction, you suspend your disbelief. Suspend your disbelief, hear what's being said, and then process it. If it doesn't ring true, it's not true. So question it, and don't take it verbatim. Always filter it through your own, and that goes for me. Filter it through your own higher intellect. And it's a fun thing to do. It's educational and it's enlightening. That's what it's supposed to be.
Now, I'm not going to go into the details of what she told me, but I will admit it was shockingly accurate, and no wonder why she was voted Best of Long Island Psychic. She told me that she'd like to leave people with this information.
Say that only love matters and only love is real. And let's work at loving everyone. Everything is a labor of love. My job's a labor of love. Your job is do everything to the maximum effort and with love. And life becomes a lot better. So that would be my piece of information.
And okay, I'll give you a little piece of what she told me.
And this is one of my favorite. You gotta be a little bit of fool to fall in love, Sabrina.
Yeah, camera off. I know.
And as I mentioned to you, Cindy, I was doing a radio show on iHeartRadio for a long time, hosting and producing it. And one of the clients was actually a tarot card reader, and had invited me to come to her office. She said, I'm getting vibes. There's something about your energy, your aura, your personality. I have to do your tarot cards. So I said, sure. I'm open to anything. I like to learn. I'm curious, enhance my skill set, enhance my knowledge. And that way you're a good conversationalist too. You know a little bit about everything. So I said, absolutely. I'd be happy to come. So I went, and she explained what she was going to do with the tarot cards. And she started flipping the cards. Now, she didn't ask me anything previous, don't tell me anything about yourself. And she started flipping the cards, and it was really amazing because every card she flipped matched everything past and present. And then 30 days later, I got another call from another individual who was intensely involved in it and said, I need to, and I hadn't told anybody that I saw her 30 days earlier. So this gentleman calls and he's deeply involved. I mean, went upstairs in this office that was in a Victorian style building, and books everywhere and telescopes and graphs and charts and just a ton of different things. He was super in it. And he said, I'm compelled to do, you're giving off an energy where I'm compelled to do your tarot card. So I said, sure. And I didn't tell him that I had gone 30 days earlier to this other person that had invited me as well to go to her. So he explains what he's going to do. And I didn't say anything in advance. And he flips the cards and explains what each card represents, like you were doing in that video we just looked at. And what was really, really amazing and pretty cool was that every card he flipped actually matched the cards that she flipped 30 days before. Every story, every card was identical and accurate to life experiences for me. That's amazing to have that happen, huh? And that just, when I said that, and I've told that story to a lot of people, I said, I went to one, she invited me, I didn't tell anybody. 30 days later, another invite, somebody totally different. They didn't know each other, did the same thing. The two worlds matched. Wow. Amazing.
And it is amazing, as I was explaining to you before, because there's 78 cards. So for you to get the same ones, that's not a coincidence. And it's always fascinates me how it works, and it somehow spirit makes the right cards come up. And it's part of my deal with the universe that my psychic abilities are on when the tarot cards are in my presence. I don't want to be doing it all the time. Mostly I just glance at them pretty quickly now because I'm really fast at reading them. But once in a while people will say, can you do a reading without the cards? And I always tell them no, because even if I just glance at it for a second in a reading, it's my opening to the universe that I'm free to channel to me. So I don't want to stop that, because I don't want to be where it's going to be 24/7 hearing messages and all of that. I just don't want that. I want a normal life, for sure.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. Christopher, Joseph, really agree with your theories on being a medium. Natasha, yes, only love matters, which is what you said earlier as well. Cindy, I want to let folks know too, these two phenomenal books. Tell us about this one, Why Good People Can't Leave Bad Relationships. You and I were chatting a little bit about that title before we went live. Really, really cool. And so true, huh? Is it that we feel bad? We feel guilty if we leave. We don't want to be the one that causes pain or be the bad guy. So we hang in, even if it's not, and that could be friendships. It could be relationships with family, coworkers, loved ones, spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, right?
Well, this book should have come first, but it didn't. Grant Me a Higher Love I wrote first, but this one probably should have come first, okay? Because sometimes we have to leave the bad one before we can get a good one. But the reason I wrote this is because I saw so many of my clients stuck in really unhappy relationships. And, I had a long-term marriage, 29 years, and I divorced. And it was very hard for me to leave. And what I realized with my clients was good people tend to have certain traits. They're really back on earth because they're really just too good. Okay. They're, like we talked before, the fixers, and I often call it that good people tend to fall for the princes and princess that becomes the beast. The Beauty and the Beast story. I don't buy that for 1 minute. The beast, the horrible human being, never becomes the prince. Okay. Oh, but the person we thought was so nice, so loving, told us everything we wanted to hear, becomes the beast. So good people, we've been brainwashed to see the good in everybody, to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. You said that already tonight.
Yeah, I've always done that. Yeah.
Not to trust our gut telling us, oh, that person's rotten. we've been brainwashed to not listen to people that we love telling us that someone's not good. So I call it the Hitler syndrome. You see the best in Hitler. You give Hitler the benefit of the doubt. You don't trust your gut. He's rotten. You don't listen to other people telling you he's no good. And then you land in an oven and you're shocked. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
really, like, we don't have an immunity from these people. So you have to learn to see what's there,
Yeah.
not with the rose-colored glasses. I would advise people, if they're out in the dating world, to write down the traits and certain things that you're seeing a person's doing, because we've been brainwashed to deny bad things about people. We just don't see it. Okay. So I tell them, write it down, put it on your desk, look at it. Okay. So besides not seeing what people are, okay. And then when we see it, we think, well, I can fix it. Okay. I can fix the person. Again, we discussed what an unfixable is: manipulative, judgmental, not accountable. And if they have an addiction, forget about it, run for the hills. So if they're unfixables, you're not going to fix them, but we still think we're going to fix them. Then we're not good at punishing anybody. Okay. We're not good at just, cutting people out, or enough is enough. So, my mantra for this year is enough is enough. It's just enough is enough. Okay. And we're the people pleasers. So we want everybody to like us. So we don't always tell what's on our mind. And we're the peacemakers, and we want everything, everybody to like us and make nice. And so these are the traits and we don't have enough self-love. We put everybody first. We're the martyrs and the crap takers, and everybody comes first. And, we're the enablers. People mess up and we clean it up. So there's a lot of traits that people have that keep
I do that all the time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
My broom is very big.
Oh, yeah. And, these
and that can be exhausting and irritating, to be quite honest. I say that now live. It can be exhausting and irritating.
Also, it's karmically incorrect to enable. Okay, I'll tell you why.
Right.
Action, reaction. You screw up, you clean it up. That's the laws of karma. It's not, you clean up, you mess up and I clean it up. Okay, that's not how it works. And so, the law of karma is, you make a mess, it's your job to clean it up. So if we keep enabling people, they're never going to learn anything. And by nature, we just do it all. We just want to help. It's not that hard for us to clean it up and fix it. So these are the traits that make a person, and they're usually very loyal. Like, you're too loyal, oftentimes loyal to people who don't deserve your loyalty.
Or don't even notice that you're loyal.
Right. Loyalty is a two-way street. And so, you're loyal to someone and they're not being loyal back. That's, not the contract you signed on for. So leaving bad relationships is often a very hard thing to do. It's not easy. And that's why I wrote that book. People from around the world have told me they've left toxic relationships that they weren't able to leave for 20 years. And, it finally cleared out some of their subconscious mind. And also, toxic love becomes an addiction, by the way.
It's funny you said 20 years, because Linda said, thank God I'm finally divorced after 22 years. LOL.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it takes a while for us to move forward. But that's why that book is meant to get people to leave without guilt. Because sometimes people start feeling guilty, they stay with people because they're plagued with guilt. And I always tell people, what's your intention in leaving that person? Is it to hurt them, or is it to tell them enough is enough? Is it self-love and self-preservation? Then those intentions are good. So, it's unearned guilt. Oftentimes it will be processed, but if you're staying with someone out of guilt, that is, not going to get us any brownie points really from God,
Karen in Nova Scotia says it's very exhausting and irritating mentally and emotionally. And Bernadette says it's stressful. That's why it becomes exhausting. Yeah. Right.
I know. And so, it's one of those things. I want you to just come to self-love, okay? And love yourself the way you love your children or your friend. Filter it through that. Would you tell your beloved child or your friend to stay with this person, or would you tell them run for the hills? And do what you would tell the person you love, because most people are very mother hens and protective of people they love. They're just not with themselves, And
then some people know how to push the buttons on purpose, right?
Oh, yeah. They're
You got a
master
whole
manipulators.
chapter on button pushers.
There's actually a whole chapter on manipulation, all the different kinds of manipulators, including the sweet ones. We don't often know the sweet manipulators. They're so sweet while they're doing it to us. So there are all kinds of manipulation that we have to figure out. And the bully manipulation, the guilt.
Are you a good, do you have, see, like I'm a good, or I've become, no, I would say I always was. And maybe I've attributed it to having a New York sensibility sometimes. I don't know. And I've done it actually for others, giving like a little bit of a hint or a warning, just watch out with that particular, I'm not going to say what to do or how to do. I'm getting a vibe that this isn't going to turn out well, or they're going to turn on you, or they're going to take advantage of you, or they're going to do something. I just get the vibe. I see what they're doing. I'm an observer of life. I'm getting my father passed that down actually. And I could just, and a lot of what I say ends up coming to fruition. Some people listen and then they steer themselves gently in that other direction from that, tsunami that's coming at them from that person. And some go right into it. And then they're like, so would you say that you are do you have a good BS meter?
Okay. Yeah. If I don't love you. Okay. If I love you, then my meter's off really bad. Like that's where the blinders go on. Love is blind. And, if I don't love you and I don't really like you, I'm a very good judge of character. I have been fooled when I like people and when I love them. That's when I don't think we're ever going to be fully, prone to never having that happen. But I think if we just trust our gut and if we do write down, like they've said this and then yesterday said that, it helps us, maybe steer clear. And maybe we'll be fooled sometimes, but for the most part, it's just not staying in a bad relationship for 20 years or 15 years or 10 years. Maybe we'll be fooled for 3 months or 6 months. Well, it happens. I don't want people jaded. I just, how do you not be jaded? You trust your gut. Your gut always tells you when people are lying, even when you love them, you saw it. I could see in my past relationships, I saw the red flags. I could remember every one of them. I just ignored them. Maybe I didn't want to pay attention to them, but just trust your gut. And if your gut tells you somebody's not good, they're probably not, because our gut is usually dead people telling us, by the way. It's spirit guides and dead people. It's not coming from us. They're telling us, watch out, watch your back. So we have to listen to that voice. It's not coming from here. It's coming from above. So the more you learn to trust your gut, the better off you are in any situation, even in a business situation, or you're hiring somebody to fix your car and your gut's telling you something's off with this guy. And yet, you don't want to, you're a nice person. You don't want to insult him, and you let him fix your car and he doesn't fix it. And he charges you $2,000 and your gut had told you not to use him, but you didn't.
So everybody wants to know, when she takes the car in and the guy charges her $2,000 to replace a hose, how does Cindy handle that?
Cindy
Yeah.
only buys a new car like every 80,000 miles. And I don't buy expensive cars. I buy Hyundais that I have never had a repair ever in my Hyundais. And this is not a commercial for them, but my last 5 cars, I have gotten to 100,000 with just brakes and tires, because I don't want to deal with those people. Okay. Right. Because I have been ripped off. And how do I deal with it? I learned that you have to hold people accountable. So once in a while I've had to take them to small claims court, and it's not pleasant because normally we don't like to punish anybody.
Right.
But I realized that sometimes you have to hold people accountable, or they'll just keep doing it. And so the last time I did that and I won, I said, I just don't want to ever have to deal with this again.
Do you find yourself then, after a certain amount of times, you begin to try to avoid or steer away from people that you know are going to be problematic in that way? You sort of, as time goes on and as the years march on, you start reducing the amount of people that you're exposing yourself to, or that they're, exposing as far as connection, because you get a good sense of this intuitive understanding of what these people are out for or what they're going to be like, or so you sort of withdraw a little bit just because you don't want the aggravation, manipulation. You just want to get involved in any of that.
Right, exactly. And
I've done that too.
you don't have to make a big deal about breaking off relationships that are friendships. Sometimes you just get busy and you just don't see them. You just don't call them so often. You just kind of wean off of it. And after a while, it just kind of fades away. Certain people aren't worth like telling what you're going to say. Because if you tell them, they're going to turn on you. And in this day and age of Googling bad stuff about people,
and creating stuff too that's not even real. Yeah.
I want to tell someone off.
Twitter.
Think about it. It's going to be tweeted. It's going to be Googled. You're not going to get that off the internet. So maybe it's better to be diplomatic about it. Just kind of wean it off and let them fade off into the darkness. And we don't have to hate people to leave them, by the way, not in a divorce. I believe in divorce without drama and trauma. Don't make it hateful. Don't nitpick. Don't fight. If it's just not working, you can end it. I mean, you don't have to hate people to leave them.
What about, some societies, cultures, religions, what have you, always profess you must forgive. You must, even if you've been wronged, no matter what they did or said to you, you need to forgive, because when you forgive them, you're liberated and you're forgiving yourself, and it's cleansing. How do you feel about that from your perspective, as far as you should be able to forgive just about everything that goes on just because it's the right thing to do? And it helps you because while you're still aggravated about what was said and done, they've moved on. They're not even thinking about you anymore. And you're holding that anger for what they said or did, or the hurtful thing they might have done to somebody you care about. How do you handle all of that?
Well, first of all, in the book, Why Good People Can't Leave Bad Relationships, one of the steps is people forgive too easily and too often. Okay. Now, when Jesus walked the earth, he used the word forgiveness, and he spoke Aramaic, which is a form of Greek. And the word forgiveness meant to untie. Okay. So you want to karmically untie yourself from a person. But true forgiveness, and if you remember in the New Testament, Jesus said you forgive 7 times, 70 times. That's 490 times. When I was a kid, I thought that was a lot of times.
Yeah.
A gazillion times. Okay. Some people we've forgiven 490 times in a year. Okay. So like there was a finite number here. Okay.
Yeah.
And forgiveness meant a person recognizes wrongdoing. 2, they make amends to us. 3, they say they're sorry. 4, sometimes they go to therapy so they don't do it anymore. But forgiveness does not mean reconciliation. Forgiveness means I forgive you as a person, but I don't forgive your actions. That's different. We forgive people, but certain actions are not forgivable. And so in forgiving a person, we untie ourselves karmically from them. We don't have to meet them in spirit or in another lifetime. We don't have to deal with them anymore in this lifetime. So you're really karmically cutting the binding that you have with that person. Because when you're still playing victim or being a victim to this person, you're still tied to them. So just learn you forgive a person, not their actions. Okay. And if they don't do the steps of forgiveness, then, you can't reconcile with them. And if you think they're going to hurt you again, I want you to love yourself the way you love your child. Would you tell your child to take that person back into their life, or would you tell them, untie them, cut them out of your life? And so that is one of the hardest things we have to learn, when to cut people out. Mm-hmm. And that is not easy for good people. But, sometimes we just have to understand. And I think the greatest gift for me was to learn to forgive a person, but not actions. Because you just can't.
The person, but not actions. Yeah. How do you separate the two?
Well, because we don't judge people. Okay. We can judge actions as unacceptable, but not people. For instance, if someone comes to my house for a reading and I can tell they're obviously high on drugs, I'll tell them, I'm sorry, you're not permitted in my house. Go stay in your car. I'll read you in your car. I don't permit heroin in my house. I don't want you dying in my house. I don't want that energy in here. I'm not judging you as a person by any means. I am judging heroin is not permitted in my home. And so that's different. We can judge actions that are not, that are not acceptable, but I'm not judging that person at all. Okay. And that's the difference, because when we forgive a person, we're not judging a person. Okay. And sometimes we can have compassion. It was done to them. They do it to us. Hurt people, and you could kind of all understand that. And it isn't easy to forgive certain actions. It really isn't. But if we don't, we become this total, victim consciousness. And we don't want to do that. We don't want to play victim. Okay. Children are victims. Grown-ups cannot be victims. We can be volunteers. Okay. So yes, children are victims. And that's the sad part about it. But once we're grown up, even just forgiving our parents or forgiving is important, so that we let go of all of that. When you're over a certain age, nobody really cares what your mommy and daddy did to you, so forgive the people, not their actions. If you become a parent yourself, you realize it's a lot harder to be a parent than you thought it was.
Yeah, right.
It's a lot harder.
There's another book, and this is the book that you said was actually before, and this is a cool one too. Tell us about this one and the inspiration for this one. Grant Me a Higher Love.
Okay, that one was kind of channeled to me, a lot of the book. It took me 4 years to write it. I had a lot of spirit guides and angels. And there's a lot of different steps. There's 19 steps to a higher love. And one of them is overcoming commitment phobia. And this book was written in 2008. And I thought, well, why do you want me to write about this? And
commitment phobia. Don't want to sign on the dotted. Don't want to sign on that dotted line with anything.
And what the universe was preparing me for was the fact that this was going to be a phenomenal problem in the coming years. And it is a phenomenal problem. People are not committing to love. And it's causing a lot of heartache and a lot of pain. And there are so many single people because no one will commit. They think there's a million Tinderellas waiting for them. So why are they going to commit to you? It's terrible. So that step was so eye-opening to me that most people are commitment phobics. They're afraid of love. Sometimes they're committed commitment phobics. They marry people they don't love all that much. And they ran away from
a lot of freelancers and gig workers too. They don't want to sign on the dotted line.
Nobody wants to commit. And so that's a big problem. And so this was a very enormous task to do. I don't think I could do it now. It was an enormous task. It was a lot of editing, writing, rewriting, a lot of channeling, a lot of reading hundreds of books. And then the universe would help me, because when I wrote the chapter on commitment phobia, for the next month, everyone who came for a reading was involved with a commitment phobic of some sort. So it made the writing easier. So that is sort of a book to get people to understand that there's different levels of love, and that only love matters. And there's two paths in life, love and fear. You can continue to walk the path of fear, or you can start to walk the path of love. And so there's a lot of healing that takes place in that book, how to understand different parts of your personality. And it's an enormous read. It's not an easy book. And yet it's an easy one to read. It's not written hard. Okay. It's like, that's what took me so long to write it. The universe kept saying, simplify it, easy. And so that's a book that, sometimes I forget that I know the stuff in that book, because I'll be having a hard day and spirit will tell me, why don't you open to page 398? And I'll open and there's the answer. Like I know it. So that book is my hope that there will be world peace, one soulmate couple at a time. My true mission is world peace. Okay. Because soulmates really are going to teach peace and love and joy to the world. And that's what I'm trying to do. One soulmate couple at a time.
I had somebody tell me, I think it was about 2 years ago, somebody interviewed with my professional hat on television. And she was telling me something that I hadn't heard before, but have heard subsequently since. I thought it was fascinating that there are times when your soulmate isn't necessarily the person that you're with, meaning that there could be somebody else that you come in contact in your lifetime who really is the soulmate, but that doesn't mean that that's the person that is your intimate partner or the person you're dating or married to. That person might be there in your life to teach you a lesson, or you're going to learn from them, or whatever it may be. Have you heard of that before, where sometimes the person that you're with isn't necessarily the soulmate? They're the person you love, the person you want to be
Right.
with. They love you and you're all about each other, but there are other soulmates, or it doesn't have to be the person that you're with. Have you heard of
Well,
that?
we don't just have one soulmate.
Right.
Thank God, because a lot of times it's not our fault that someone screws this up. So we're not responsible for their behaviors. We're responsible for ours. So we'll be granted another soulmate. That's what it means. Grant me a higher love. We'll be granted another one. Someone who's dragged soulmate down the ladder of love to toxic, however, will not be granted another soulmate anytime soon. Could take 5, 10, 20 years, if ever. So yeah, we have more than one soulmate. And sometimes you might be married to a person that's not necessarily a soulmate. Could be a person that was a man or woman to fit a plan, but it works in your life. And we have different kinds of soulmates. Some are friendships, some are children. So it's not just romantic soulmates, and not all soulmates are meant to last forever. So we may have someone that we had a relationship with for a year and we ended it and it's over with, but we learned so much from that person. That doesn't mean it wasn't a good relationship. It just meant that it wasn't supposed to last forever. So we do have all different kinds of soulmates. So that's the truth. And the good news is, God forbid our soulmate should die, we would be granted another soulmate if we love that person well. And that person who died grants us another soulmate. So those are the things. And to think about my skills are kind of weird. The ability to talk to dead people and to understand love, like probably not that many people understand. Well, they're directly related, because so many people are afraid to love with all their heart and soul, because they're afraid to love, because what if you die on me? And they don't want to be devastated by that death. So they water it down to take each other for granted, or they run away from it, is what people are doing in the 21st century. They just run away from it.
Yeah.
And that's something that's terrible, because, and I try to prove then, if I could talk to your dead mother or grandmother, I'm proving that death ends a life, not a relationship. And that if our soulmates should die, they will telepathically communicate to us, because soulmates are very telepathic with each other. They just know what they're thinking. They just have these synchronistic events all the time. So I just want people to know that love with all your heart. Talking to dead people is a brutal thing to do, because 90% of dead people coulda, woulda, shoulda loved better. That's really what they tell me. What? And I think it's awful that I have to tell their wife of 50 years that they love them. Why did you tell her? Why do I have to tell her this? What's with that? So no one regrets loving. People regret that they didn't love. They regret that they didn't take a chance, or that they watered it down. So that's something that love with all your heart, and don't love with fear that if I love you and you're going to die on me. Well, we're all going to die. I'm sorry. But that doesn't mean we can't love each other. So that's, the whole thing about soulmates is loving with all your heart, if you're blessed to have one.
What about the sort of the Brady Bunch version of it, where, there's this film-esque feeling, the Wizard of Oz, sort of that they're going to wait, or that the person is going to be this extraordinary individual that comes out of a magazine or a movie set, or their television. They're going to pop right out and be magical, perfect, everything, and that the whole relationship's going to be perfect. The house is going to be perfect. The kids are going to be perfect. Life's going to be perfect if they find that perfect, quote, perfect other person.
Well, soulmate love, unfortunately, brings up unhealed issues. So sometimes it's not easy. All your stuff you thought you healed, you didn't. And now it's all going to come to surface. So soulmates are there to teach each other, to help each other evolve. And if we're not teaching each other, or we're not helping each other evolve, then it's time to end it as well. It's like, because that's part of the contract with soulmates. We will evolve with each other. We will not devolve. And we will not bring out the worst in each other. Soulmates are supposed to bring out the best in each other, not the worst. And the easiest way to understand a soulmate relationship is to understand the way that the ancient Greeks described time. They had two words for time. One was chronos time, which is Cindy's going to be on the air at 7. And one was kairos time, which is soul time, which is eternal moments that take our breath away, that change us. So we might have a soulmate that only lasts a week and will forever change the fiber of our being. And so you can't measure a soulmate by the length of time they've been in your life. You can have someone in your life for 40 years and they really don't affect you very much. You learn to ignore them. They're there, but
but it's
from them. But a soulmate has that kairos time about it. And it's supposed to help our souls evolve and grow. And it's not always an easy relationship. It can be difficult. It can demand healing and sticking your 2 feet in there and struggling. And, it's not happily ever after a lot of times. It can be a lot of pain. But in an ideal world, your soulmate is having a pajama party with your best friend.
How about those times you meet somebody, either you're talking on the phone or you're at a gathering or it's just the two of you in a supermarket, whatever it is, and you're striking up a conversation and you're chatting, or certain elements brought you together. Like for me, being on television and radio, there's so many people I've met over the years, and there's certain people where we're placed on the same set, the same studio, whatever it is. And we strike up this conversation that becomes effortless, natural, authentic, real, automatic, and as if we had known each other for 25 years. The comfortability, the automatic nature of it, the tennis match of it, how beautifully it's flowing. And sometimes you can even finish each other's sentences, but you don't feel like you're cutting each other off. And you're like saying to each other, my God, it feels like we've known each other all these years, but we just met now. I love when that happens, and it happens a lot. Does that come into play with any of this?
That's called, in the book, I call it your soulmate recognition factor. You recognize them. And it's probably from a past life. There is this instant, transcending time and space. And that's what soulmates do. They have a recognition factor, like you've always known each other. And also soulmates just talk from the soul. So I love in like dating apps, and when they try to tell you, on a first date, don't talk about anything that's important. If you meet a soulmate, you're going to talk from your soul. You're going to talk about the most fascinating things you could ever imagine. And I tend to very much always talk from my soul with everyone. I try to do that wherever I go now. The more in touch with your own soul you are, the more you will have soulful connections with more and more people. And so, yes, that soulmate recognition is amazing. And when you have it, it just feels like, wow, I've come home, and it's wonderful. And that's something that we all have experienced. And it's the same thing if you don't see that person for 20 years.
Yeah.
And you see them, it's like you just step right back in March and you're right back there in that conversation as if no time had passed. And that is how you know you have a soulmate connection. Now, soulmates are not just lovers, they're friends, they can be a child, they can be with your parent. There's all different kinds of soulmate relationships. And again, we want to talk more from our heart and our soul and our higher consciousness, less from our ego. All the screaming and yelling that's taken place in, 2020, the universe does not hear when we're screaming. Okay. They don't hear a word that we say. Okay. They just don't hear that vibration. So, we have to stop talking from that and talk from our heart and soul. So you understand a lot about soulmates. I can see that. I can see your lovedies are soulmates.
They are.
They feel a soulmate connection here as well.
Juanita. There you are. What? That was funny. It was like, are you dizzy?
A little bit. Whoa. What's in that lemonade you're drinking over there?
Juanita in South Africa. What if
Oh,
I
yeah,
do
yeah.
I do feel like I've known you for years, Cindy.
Yeah.
That's
We
also,
probably met in a past life.
I was going to
You know?
say, probably at Pathmark on Long Island. What if your soulmate is unfixable, can't live with, can't live without?
That's a very good question. And that's what I have to talk with people all the time. They started out as soulmates, but it didn't maintain itself. It went down to cellmate now. It's toxic. And the soulmate contract is we bring out the best in each other. We don't enable people. If they're not learning with us, the contract means then you're going to have to learn without me. And that is one of the hardest relationships to ever leave, a soulmate, because you never stop loving a soulmate. You fall out of liking them, I'll tell you that much, but you don't stop loving them. And so determining if your soulmate's unfixable, your choices are to stay with it, shut the hell up, and take the consequences of what that will do to your health, because it's not very good for your health. Or you could try to fix it as best you can. Say what you mean what you say. Don't be mean about it. Call the person on their behaviors, continually keeping to instruct them and teach them. And maybe they'll leave you because they don't want that, or to leave them. So it's really up to what's best for your heart and your soul. But if you find that you can't fix someone, and you're enabling them, and you're taking crap, and you're being a martyr, you're not going to really get brownie points from God, because the contract that you had with your soulmate was to teach that person, for them to evolve and for them to learn their lessons. And if they're not going to learn them with you, the contract implies that you have to leave. And I've had to do it, and I don't wish it on my worst enemy. Really, I don't. But it's something that, takes time. And, when you really fall out of liking somebody long enough, that's what happens. You never stop loving them. Don't try to stop loving your soulmate. It's a waste of energy. But love them from afar. Love them like they died. If they died, you love them with your heart, soul, mind. You just couldn't put your body with them, because that's the part that's flawed, their body and their ego. So love them as if they've died, but not in your life on the earth plane. And it's really difficult thing.
It is, isn't it? It really is. And Merlin in Canada says, I have 3 soulmates, 2 of them 65 years and 1 for 6 years.
Well, wonderful.
That's amazing, huh?
Well, great for her, and that is wonderful.
Yeah.
And, and I hope that, our audiences learn something from tonight. And I'm going to have to wind it up, because I do have a reading to do, believe it or not, still.
How much of what we've talked about tonight plays into the creativity of being a playwright and a creative as well? Do the two worlds play off and sort of blend?
They do.
They do, yeah.
Because, I just wrote a short play called No Rest for a Soul. And it's about someone who's committed suicide and them getting their life review from the keepers of the record, the Akashic Records. And I kind of based that on an experience where someone had recently committed suicide. And I wanted to, maybe teach people it's not always the best thing to do, okay? Because there is no rest for a soul. So if you think you're going to kill yourself and get rest on the other side, it doesn't really work that way. So my work and that creative project came together. So very much so, just my clients, thousands of clients, I learn a lot about life, and I put that into my plays, and they're all very different. My plays, some are comedies, some are dramedies, some are deadly serious. I don't really have a fingerprint that you could say, oh, I know that's her work. Like most people say, I can't believe you wrote this and wrote that, because they're so different. But my work, my creative, it's all like linked together. And I get to talk to the heart and soul of people. And isn't that what you want to see in drama, heart and soul?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I try not to write about neurotic, selfish people. I try to write about good people that are suffering, and good people that, have hard lives, things like that we can learn from. But it's all linked. It's all together. And
it's all together.
And this has been wonderful for me. And I just loved your lovities. I feel like all their love coming from them, and the comments are so sweet. And, when we do things like this, we get a little nervous. Are we doing a good job? Are we saying what's helpful? And all their comments just made me feel so wonderful and so blessed to have been here today.
Well, I want to show you briefly some of the beautiful, lovely comments here. Thank you, Cindy. And this was Kathleen, who you really helped this evening with her mother passing. Thank you, Cindy. Appreciate your being here. Marsha Murphy Watson, very enlightening evening. Juanita, South Africa. Thanks, Cindy. Linda Odell, who you talked about with her father passing and not wanting to have her there to, for the pain. Thank you for sharing with us, Cindy. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family from Linda in Florida, Marilyn in Wichita, Kansas. Thank you, Cindy. I've enjoyed listening to you. Blessings. Bernadette Vidal. She says, thank you, Cindy, for sharing with us. Stay safe, stay well. Happy Thanksgiving. Merlin in Canada. Thank you, Cindy. Very informative. You are now a lovity.
I love it.
June met Cindy through John Peacock, who was a guest on our show and listened to her play. He's wonderful too. Thank you. Great to see you. Our dear friend June.
She's amazing.
Natasha, great show, Jim. Thank you so much. Love you, Cindy. Welcome, Natasha, to the Jim Masters Show Live. Cindy, thank you, Cindy. I learned a lot about myself tonight.
That's great. Yes.
So learned about you and learned about herself. That's the ultimate.
Because the worst thing is to sit here and talk about yourself. Okay. Like, it's kind of boring. So I'm glad that you got things about you, because that's what I had hoped to deliver.
Well, this was absolutely positively fantastic. And what is your website? People want to check out a website.
Kind of easy to remember. It's grantmeahigherlove.com.
grantmeahigherlove.com, so people can check out more there and learn more. And a couple more goodbyes coming in here real quick. Thanks for spending time with us tonight, Cindy. Wishing you many more blessings. And Sherry says, thank you for coming to Lovity Hall tonight, Cindy. What a wonderful evening spent with you. Please come back again soon.
Well, great.
Definitely a Lovity now. And you are very welcome, my friend, to come back and we can explore
have me whenever
more.
You want. And if it's a topic that I know about and you feel like exploring, just shoot me an email.
It's a 4-letter word. It's called life. And Christine comes in here and she says, thanks, Cindy, for all your time. And the conversation was both educational and fascinating tonight. We learned so much this evening. Wish you well. You are a lovity. And Marcia says, good night, y'all. I hope the show met your expectations and you enjoyed your time with me as much as I certainly have with you, Cindy.
Oh, thank you so much. And please, everyone, just enjoy your Thanksgiving, small as it may be. It's still Thanksgiving, and be in gratitude.
That's very important. I had a wonderful time with you, Cindy. You're welcome back anytime, and I hope you had a great time too.
I sure did. Bye, everybody.
Take care.
Bye from New York.
Sending you lovity.
Lovity.
Thanks,
Bye.
Cindy. You take care. Have a great holiday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Wasn't she amazing? Wasn't that a lot of fun? You also got a chance to ask a few questions there, learn more about yourself, and maybe how to handle a few things that you might be dealing with in your life. That is Cindy Sansone-BRAFF. And again, brilliant playwright, choreographer, dancer, theatrical agent, author, psychic medium as well. And all of those areas play so beautifully together, huh? She's also a very spirited person and very enthusiastic and filled with wisdom and knowledge. And thank you very much, June. We appreciate that. Cindy and I, we were chatting before we went live, similar wavelengths. And it's not just a New York, Long Island thing, although that probably has some connection there, of course, just about the way we look at life and see things in so many different ways. You got to be open and authentic and don't sweat the small stuff. Something we all have to learn, right? Don't sweat the small stuff. How many times do I say on this show, this, of all the shows I think we've done, this is perfect for tonight's show, right? Relax, breathe from the diaphragm, take care of yourself, love yourself, love others and care for others, but you got to care for yourself too. And I have to remind myself of that oftentimes too in the busy life I have. So relax, breathe, love one another, and love yourself. So important to do that. A few more comments coming in here. We appreciate all the time that Cindy spent with us. Just want to show you again those 2 books. This was the first book there, Grant Me a Higher Love. The second book, Why Good People Can't Leave Bad Relationships. You can check those out. And again, we thank our very special guest, CINDI Sansone-BRAFF. She is amazing, right? Absolutely amazing. I know you guys really opened up about your experiences and about your own lives. And I just want to say thank you, because I guess you really feel comfortable here to do that. Men, women, all ages, everybody's welcome here. This isn't in our community just for certain ages or genders or income levels or zip codes or color of the skin or any religions. This place is for everybody. It's called the Jim Masters Show Live. It's a talk show, entertainment, lifestyle talk show. And we have a blast putting these shows together. And oftentimes we put them together and you don't know what happens. We have wonderful things that happen. We always plan for that, but sometimes it gets extraordinary. Tonight was pretty extraordinary, wasn't it? Cool shirt, Jim. Is that my favorite color? It's sort of, I think it's a cross between, it's not as orange as it looks on the screen. It's more of like maybe it's, I don't know, what is it? It's just a mauve or something, sort of. That's an old word, huh? That was definitely an interesting night. Loved Cindy. Thanks, Jim. Oh, yeah, our pleasure. Kathleen Walker, I'm so glad you were having a bad day today. And I know with the holidays with your mom there in New York, Kathleen, you needed this day. And Cindy was so responsive, and she really did a beautiful job trying to comfort and channeling your mother as well. And your mother, everything she said about your mother, so spot on, isn't it? Loving, warm, matriarchal, caring, and the things that she said about you. You are very much like your mother in that way, Kathleen. This was amazing. Everyone is so nice and friendly. That's what the show is all about, Natasha. We have a cool time here on our show, so spread the word. Tell everybody. The show is 30 weeks, but I think it was Carla in Brazil who watches our show said 34 weeks. So that's a lot of weeks, day after day after day. And we're live 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific every day. Sometimes we do more than one show a day. Matter of fact, coming up in December, we have several weekends because we're doing a lot of holiday themed concerts and events and everything. Some cool things happening in December. There's going to be several weekends where we're doing 2 shows a day. Wow. Why am I going to need a Christmas vacation and break? I hope we get to Florida so I can get on that beach and swim and float after all this hard work we're doing here, this and my professional work. But everyone's so nice and friendly, Natasha, and welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live. You know, it's funny when I move, there you go. Sometimes the shirt looks orangey and sometimes it's actually not a shirt. It's sort of like it's like a thin jacket. It's an Under Armour thin jacket. It's got black down here and in the arms, and it's black, I believe, in the back there somewhere. Yeah, it's got, you see how the arms are, sort of? Looks like I'm flexing, doesn't it? The next show for an hour and a half, I'm just going to flex. How about that? But yeah, it's got black and it's kind of cool, isn't it? Yeah. All right, everybody, let's go. Well, maybe I should do a show where we all exercise. And we'll have to do that after we do a food festival show. So if we do a show that's centered around food, the next episode has to be a health and wellness show. And we will just exercise, breathe, just breathe, smile. Let's work it out. All right. You got to have fun. You got to have fun. Right, George? George says you got to have fun. Look at him. He's always got to quit that cigar. It's not good for him. Although, he lived till 100. George loved it tonight. A couple more. Ooh, the spices. Thank you, Mona. I can't wait. I'm getting some spices and I think coffee or some coffees coming from New Orleans. I can't wait. Thank you. I appreciate that. And Anne said you've shipped something that I'm going to get Monday. You guys are incredible. And Christine Clifton sent me her father's cookbook, which we're going through. And can't wait to show that to family as soon as we can all get together, which was a beautiful gift as well. And Maureen says, Lovely Hall is a safe zone. It is for all ages, all genders, all backgrounds, everybody. Came in late. We'll definitely go to the archives to watch this whole show right away. Thank you, Jim. Another amazing, informative guest. Love your show. Yes, I think that's it, right? Yes, you got it, Bernadette. It's like coral. Yeah, it's really cool. It's colorful. If I'm jogging at night, the cars can definitely see me. Or cycling. Natasha, it's how we roll in Lovety Hall. You got it. It's true. Thank you for all your hard work. Such a great Friday. That's what I like. It's like a talk show, the talk shows that you would watch, Carson and DeCavitt and Mike Douglas and all these other, and the talk shows of today too. Think about all the shows, Live with Kelly and Ryan and Ellen and all these different shows. They have a myriad of different things. We don't have a studio audience. Otherwise, maybe I would run through the studio audience and say hi to everybody. We can't high five and shake hands, not during the COVID time. But if we had a studio audience, maybe we could do all that. But you're sort of like a studio audience right there. So very welcome, Maryland. And we have a good time there and here. Cindy was amazing. Thank you, Mr. Levity. My pleasure. Really beautiful what she said about your father, huh? I think that makes sense. He didn't want you to be there because he didn't want you to be in pain. I know you, if you're like me, you really wanted to be there. And I was there actually for a relative, an aunt at the last breath. And it's difficult. It's difficult. It's reassuring and peaceful, but it is difficult. But I think maybe but when we were there for one of our aunt's last breath, some of the other relatives left, and we were told the same thing. She didn't want to pass in front of them because it would almost like she felt not that we would handle it better, but somehow we'd be affected differently, deeply. But maybe just we have this skill set or whatever to be able to handle some of it and understand it and reconcile it maybe. Have a great night. Good night, all. Lovely. Can always count on you. Thanks, Jim and everyone. They're doing surgery on my dad right now. Well, blessings to you, Renee, please. And fingers crossed everything is good, something to be thankful for. And I hope you guys are thankful for a lot of things. Blessings to you, Renee, and your dad. We're sending a prayer. We're a loving community, Natasha. Juanita, I see that. So glad I joined. I'll spread the word. Absolutely. And if you're on YouTube, give some love. We're building our YouTube channel. Would love it if you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that's where we house all the past archived episodes. So if you want to see all the other shows, Natasha, go to YouTube at Jim Masters TV, and you're going to be blown away by the guests and the conversations and the food and comedy and music and entertainment and on location and so much more. Yes, we are. Modeling and flexing, right? Thank you very much, Linda. Time for aerobics. Well, that's the order. Food, yes, and then we'll have to do the aerobics after. Ready? All right. 1, 2, breathe. Breathe from the diaphragm, as I always say. Singers do that too. You have to. More comments coming in. Now, a couple of announcements coming up next. Jim's gun show, but a different kind of gun. Gunning for attention. I'm not doing aerobics at 4 a.m. Of course not. No, if the fact that you're even with us at 4 a.m., you don't have to do aerobics. Matter of fact, you can make yourself a grilled cheese sandwich right about now if you like. Very nice. Hey, Jim. Thank you, Jennifer. Juanita, come on now. Yes, I did want to be there with my dad. We were close. Absolutely. I'm sure he probably knows that you were on your way. Okay, but only yoga on my bed, sleeping cat position. Juanita, sounds good. Take care, all. Good luck sending blessings. There goes Bernadette and Juanita. I tell you, I'm glad they're on my show here. We have the best people on this show, and our audience and our Lovety Hall continues to grow, huh? Really, really does. And you guys, I know you're telling other friends, telling other people. As we expand, we want to expand even further. And you guys are great at doing that. And I love it. I really do. All the work pays off that way. And Thank you, Jim. Hope you and your lovelies have a great night. That color looks good on you too. Thank you, Mona. I appreciate that. Can't wait to get the coffee and the spices from New Orleans. Oh my God. Tonight was a special evening in Lovely Hall. Thanks for the show with Cindy tonight. Good night, Jim and lovelies. See you all. Well, actually, we have an announcement. We are going to be off for a couple of days. I know. So we are wishing you and your families a blessed and very happy Thanksgiving filled with lots of levity. We are going to be off tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day, of course, and on Friday. I know. Are you going to be able to handle 3 days of us not being here? I don't think we've ever done 3 days, even when we had a wicked storm come through in the summertime that knocked power and Wi-Fi out. I don't think we did 3. Maybe did we do 3 days? Because I'm off from my professional work tomorrow, so we're going to be with family. But if I can squeeze in time, whether it's tomorrow, maybe Thursday on Thanksgiving, or Friday, I'll try to do maybe a quick pop-up show just to say hello and connect. But nothing scheduled for tomorrow, for Thanksgiving Day, or for Friday. We have a little mini vacation there with loved ones. So we're going to be pretty busy with that tomorrow, Thanksgiving Day, and on Friday. We're going to be back on Saturday. We have an amazing guest on Saturday. So we wish, of course, you and your families a blessed and very, very happy Thanksgiving, filled with lots of levity. We've been working really hard this year through everything, COVID and the economy and all these different things. Everybody's been jockeying and juggling, and it's been a crazy year. So we're going to be taking tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday to spend quality time with loved ones and catch up on a lot of things we need to also catch up on as well. So if we don't see you over the course of tomorrow, Thursday, Friday, we wish you and yours a blessed Thanksgiving. And if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving where you're watching, we send you greetings to think about the things that you are thankful for in your life. I'm thankful for all of you. I'm thankful that I decided, after people told me for years to do a show like this, that I was able to take the time and put a show like this together, an entertainment lifestyle talk show series. It's a lot of fun. I really look forward to it. And all of you too are truly a blessing. Of course, my family and my friends, my career, health, and all the creativity, and just the fact that we're all here, that we are all 6 feet above ground is a plus, and that we're all here. And so we wish you a very, very happy Thanksgiving. A lot of people are doing smaller Thanksgivings, just staying home, or, they're not, there are some people flying and driving and everything else, but not as many people as normally would be. So a lot of people are staying closer to home. So we're looking to Christmas. And if we do end up going to Florida for Christmas with the family and to visit other family there, hopefully we'll be able to do that. We'll be doing some shows from Florida, which would be very, very cool. So stay tuned for that. But again, if I see a window of opportunity, I might do a pop-up show either tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday. The reason why I say a pop-up show is I don't want to commit and then have you all excited and then nothing happens. So I'll say we might be doing a pop-up show. I know you would want me to, and I would love to do it. So if we can squeeze in some time, we'll do a pop-up show. Maybe we can talk about things that we're thankful for, or just have a good host chat, maybe talk about food, whatever it may be. We'll see what develops. But we don't have a guest scheduled for tomorrow. Of course, not Thanksgiving and not for Friday. We wanted to give them a rest to be with their families, give you a rest to be with your family, and us with ours. But on Saturday, and then once Saturday comes, all bets are off. We have a December that is unbelievable, where we're so busy that we have 2 shows a day on several weekend shows and some absolutely amazing people. There's going to be a lot of holiday cheer coming our way. Just want to show you who our guest is on Saturday. Brilliant cellist Stephen Chen. He's actually a dear friend, and we met each other when we were both at Carnegie Hall. I was MC for a fabulous Christmas concert with Tim Janis and friends. Really, really fantastic, beautiful concert. I've MC'd it, meaning Master of Ceremonies, multiple times. brilliant concert. And one of the cellists with the orchestra is Stephen Chen. And we became friends. We've been chatting. And I said, would you like to pop on the show, especially at holiday time? And he said, absolutely. So he's all excited. Stephen Chen, this brilliant cellist, is going to be with us this Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific live. He's also going to play live for us as well. And that is going to be this Saturday, I think it's the 28th, live on YouTube at Jim Masters TV and on Facebook at Jim Masters TV. And again, if you missed this episode and you would like to watch it again, you can. It's right there for you on our YouTube channel. All of the episodes are archived there for you on YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Some comments coming in here. Some comments. Let's see. Oh, wow. Whew. 1 million comments. I try to make sure we don't miss any. Let's see. We have Take Care All, sending blessings. Take Care All, you too, June, and good luck, sending blessings. And thank you very much, Mona. Let's see. We've got you deserve that time. Thank you, Marsha. I appreciate that. We were debating whether to do a show tomorrow or we were doing Thursday. Well, we knew Thanksgiving we weren't, because that's, you should be with family and friends, or if you're being home, it's a day of rest and giving thanks. So I'm telling you now that I give thanks for all of you and all our guests and everybody involved with the show. And we have so many wonderful plans for the rest of the year and for 2021 with all of you here. So we're not here tomorrow, Wednesday. We're not here Thursday, and we're not here this Friday. So 3 days, that's 3, right? 3 days we won't be here. But again, we might do a pop-up show. If I can squeeze in some time, I might sneak away and do a quick pop-up hello. We'll see. Hopefully. It'll be a pop-up, so I can't say. That's why it's a pop-up. It pops up. But if we do, we'll let you know we'll plan it on YouTube and Facebook, and we will announce it on Facebook if there is something. Oh, no, seriously, though, have a happy Thanksgiving. We shall miss you, Jim. Well, we will definitely miss you, and we will be raising a glass to all of you as well. Happy Thanksgiving, Mr. Loverty and Loverities. You too, Linda. The Wi-Fi out was 2 evenings off. Oh, boy, the Wi-Fi out is tough. You don't want that to happen. Hope you have a happy Thanksgiving, Jim, and everyone. You as well. A beautiful, blessed Thanksgiving. Oh, no. Gonna miss you. And everyone, hugs. You too, Mona. Absolutely. You too. And thanks for being here. Maureen says, enjoy your break. Happy Thanksgiving and much love to all. I'm so glad I discovered this place. Maureen, we are very, very blessed and happy to have you here as well. And we'll see you on Saturday. We'll be back on Saturday. And again, we may do a pop-up show on Facebook and YouTube over the Thanksgiving break tomorrow, Thursday, or Friday. If we do, we'll try to squeeze in some time. If not, then we'll be definitely here on Saturday and we'll have a good time. What's it, where they say absence makes the heart grow fonder or something like that? Pamela says, enjoy your vacation. I'll just listen to replays. You can binge. That's right. You can binge on all the past episodes of our show. And Kathleen says, I'm going through withdrawal already, but you deserve the time off. Enjoy. Hopefully we can chat a bit. Yep. You know where I'm at, Kathleen. You got all the information. So I expect that, of course. You know, I'm here, the information, and keep the faith. Hang in there, Kathleen. Hang in there. You too, Renee. Have a happy Thanksgiving all to Renee. And again, best to your father. I have to spend time with Ken for 3 days. Just kidding. I love my man. And I'm sure he loves you back. Especially when you're dancing in the kitchen, dancing in the living room, and wiggling in the bed to our theme song. And he's like, what in God's name are you doing? Why are you always wiggling between 7 and 10 at night? Wiggling and all of a sudden dancing and jumping around. What's going on, Jen? Are you okay? I'm dancing to the Jim Masters Show theme song. That's what I'm doing, Ken. Come on. I've told you this. Jen and Ken. Good night, everyone. I'm off to make that grilled cheese sandwich. Ooh, that sounds good. I'm going to take a flight to South Africa. Oh, no, we can't. Are we even allowed to fly right now? Enjoy the time off, Jem. We will miss you, of course. Enjoy, relax. Thank you, Juanita. I'm looking forward to the time off as well. But I will be thinking of all of you, and we've got some wonderful things planned when we come back Saturday. Happy Thanksgiving to all lovelies. Be safe and see you soon. Enjoy your family time, Jim. You deserve a mini vacation. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And you as well, Sherry. We are blessed by you and thankful for you, Jim. Thank you, Bernadette. I appreciate that. Right back at you. Kathleen says, happy Thanksgiving all. One of you guys will have to stay up our game like we said we would while he's out. While he's out and about. The mice will play when the cat's away, right? Bernadette and Juanita? Something like that. Come to St. Augustine. I love it. Isn't St. Augustine great? Yeah. We have family maybe only about 45 minutes south of there. And it's a great place, St. Augustine. And cool outlets they got there too. Will only be us and our 2 kids. My dad will be in the hospital now instead of with you. And I'm sure you guys are thinking about him. So hang in there, and blessings to all of you. Happy, blessed Thanksgiving, Jim and everyone. You too, Mona. Prayers up for your dad, Renee. Absolutely, Maureen. It'll be just me and Hallmark for Thanksgiving, Pamela. Well, we'll be here in spirit, and maybe we'll do a pop-up show. If we do, we'll pop up and we'll check in, see how everybody's doing. If not, then we'll, of course, see you on Saturday. Wow, look at all of these comments. This is amazing here. You guys are fantastic. A lot of people expressing themselves. You liked tonight's show, the topic and everything. The show is about everything. Remember I said in the beginning, or if you weren't here in the beginning, that the show is going to be everything. It isn't always going to be music. It isn't always going to be, food. It isn't always going to be. It's going to be a variety of different things. And I think that's what makes life, special and cool. So thank you very much, Bernadette. We love that. And come to St. Augustine. Yes, maybe we'll stop off. If we drive down, we can stop off and say hi. We usually do drive down, and we do the whole I-95 drive from the Northeast straight down, and we do pass St. Augustine. And Bernadette says, everyone stay safe, stay well. Happy Thanksgiving, for a happy rest of your week. You guys will be able to get all your laundry done too. And miss you all. I'm looking forward to Saturday Live. We will be here. Good night, Jim. Enjoy your time away with the family. You too, Llewellyn. It's always a blessing. And you've joined us recently too, and you've been with us throughout. I love it. And blessings to your family as well in California. Have a beautiful Thanksgiving. You too, Pamela. Renee, enjoy your days off. Thank you, Renee. Christine says, I agree, Jim. Crew deserves some time off. We are also very thankful for you and this beautiful show of yours. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Jim, and your family, and to you as well, Christine, and your mom and everybody. Sending you love and blessings. Bed wiggles tonight. Well, for Ken's sake, I hope you're not in a waterbed, because then he's going to be like, oh my God, he's going to get seasick. If you're in with him and then you guys are in a waterbed and you're wiggling to the Jim Masters Show theme, you're going to have to get him some Tums. I watched Christmas in Evergreen. Very nice. Yes, all those holiday specials are out now. I'm big. We've already started playing Christmas music. You know me, I have a big Christmas music collection, and boy, what a colorful place this is tonight, huh? Between me and the set and everything here, very colorful. Pow. It's nice, huh? You got to add some color to your life. I think that's really cool. Good stuff. Good stuff. We were filming actually. Let me see if I can find this before we go. You guys can play amongst yourself. I'm looking for something really cool and specific here that I wanted to show you. Let's see. We were actually at PBS, which public television, and we were at the Hartford affiliate and we were shooting segments for, I'm just scrolling through looking for this particular shot here. Oh yeah. On the Facebook page of Gym Masters TV, you can see some really, really cool things. We have some photos that I uploaded, which was from visiting the Macy's design studio where they make all the floats and everything for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. But when we were at the PBS studio, we were doing segments for upcoming holiday specials airing on public television next month in December. And we were socially distanced and we were wearing our masks. There you go. There's my co-host, Lee Newton. We're at the public television co-hosting, socially distanced. Actually, when we were doing the actual co-hosting, we were a lot further. She was on one side of the studio. I was on the other side. And then we just came quickly close for the quick photo with masks on. And then we were socially distanced. We didn't do the actual segments with the masks on. She was on one side of the studio, probably about 20 feet away, and I was on the other side of the studio, about 20 feet away. And then we had our masks off, of course, so people couldn't hear what we were saying. But this is when we were at, we were just shooting this. This particular is a Christmas special with Trans-Siberian Orchestra we were doing. And I've been with public television for many years, hosting a lot of segments in support of fabulous public television, PBS programming, Connecticut Public Television, and CBTV, and I've done it with WNET and WLIW, and worked with the fabulous folks National and so much more, and really, really cool. And so that was cool, and loved it. And there's some more photos I'm going to show you when we come back on Saturday. Some really, really cool stuff. I'll go live from home for a few days, but not Thanksgiving, and we love days can do. Oh, nice. From your king size bed. Oh my God. You guys are funny. You are very, very funny. So I think we're going to get ready to wrap. Unless you have more you'd like to say and share, we really hope you have a blessed Thanksgiving. This really was absolutely fantastic. And very, very special time with all of you. And I wish you the best of the holidays. And we will be back Saturday. That's a guarantee, but hopefully, we might be back before that with a pop-up show. And here's another quick photo. I might be able to slip in here. We're sort of downloading and uploading while we're talking. I tell you, multitasking at its best here in the Jim Master Show Live. This is just a quick shot. Maybe on Saturday I'll show you the rest. Some really cool shots from behind the scenes at the Macy's Design Studio, where they construct all the floats and all the rides, everything that you see, all the designs. And this was actually a shot at the Macy's Design Studio. Wishing you happy holidays. One of the shots there, the Macy's Design Studio is located just over the river from New York City, from Manhattan, in New Jersey. And we got a chance to go there and tour it. This is pre-COVID. This was like last year and the year before we went. And I got a ton of those pictures, and maybe I'll show you those behind the scenes. That would be great. I have so many things to be thankful for. And so thankful I met all of you. We are thankful that we have met all of you as well. Thank you again. Good night, John Boy. Good night for real now. You have a good night as well. Gang, again, we wish you a very, very happy Thanksgiving. We will be back on Saturday, this Saturday, with another amazing show. Cellist extraordinaire Stephen Chen is going to be my very special guest. He's a great friend, and he's going to play live, probably even do some holiday music as well. And that's Saturday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. So to all our fabulous viewers and all of our amazing guests and our crew and our families and friends and colleagues and all of you faithful loveties, we wish you a blessed, very happy Thanksgiving. And I'm thankful for all of you. All right. And so are the rest of the gang. I know you want to see the gang, so we'll slip them in. Jimmy says goodnight. There he goes. There's Jimmy. Jimmy says goodnight. And who else do we have here? You know who's here. George says goodnight. George can't wait to have stuffing on Thursday and turkey and mashed potatoes. So George says good night to you guys. Gilligan is here. He's not going to be sailing off on a 3-hour cruise. He's going to be staying here with us. Bob Denver says good night and happy Thanksgiving. Who else do we got here? Jeannie. Jeannie's been cooking all day. She didn't want to use her powers and blink up everything, so she's been cooking all day, baking pies and all of it. So Jeannie says happy Thanksgiving. Lin is over there. We will bring Lin in on Saturday, okay? I know you've been asking for the big panda Lin, so we will do that as well. And Silver says happy Thanksgiving. Silver is hoping there's lots of leftovers or things that drop off the table onto the floor so we can scoop them up. Somebody drops a piece of turkey or something. Silver is looking for it. Gang, you're the best. Our long goodbyes. Bye-bye. Bye. Good night. Bye all. Stay safe over the holidays. Dream a little dream of me. Absolutely. Well, gang, that's about it. Happy Thanksgiving. Again, we may do a pop-up show. If we do a pop-up show, I will certainly let you know on Facebook. You enjoy. I know it's going to be tough. I'm going to be so, when I see the clock approaching 7, I'm going to be in such a routine to get everything ready and pop on. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be really interesting. But if we do, we might do a show pop up, and it might be like probably earlier in the day. If we did it, it would probably be in the afternoon. Probably wouldn't be, in the evening like this. It would probably be something maybe, in the morning on Thanksgiving, or maybe sometime tomorrow, or possibly Friday. We might all be in withdrawal by Friday, so I might have to do a pop-up, a short pop-up. Come on. Is there, on the Jim Master Show Live, is there really anything called a short pop-up? Happy Thanksgiving, all. The cast of characters, including Lin. Thanks for the word you created, levity. My pleasure, Christine. Sending hugs to those who need them. If anyone needs an ear, send a message. Yes, for all of those who are going through a tough time right now, which, it's an interesting year. This is going to be an interesting Thanksgiving, very different. As we start our holiday season together, hopefully we're on to more peaceful, beautiful times ahead for all of us. All right. Count those blessings and the things you're thankful for. We will see you Saturday. I know that's 3 days from now. Saturday. Don't forget, next Monday, real quick, very important, Monday, November 30th. Guess who's coming? Allison Arngrim. She's going to be here live. She played Nellie Olson on Little House on the Prairie. That's this coming Monday, November 30th. So don't forget, I know we're going to be, away a couple of days. So I just want to remind you that she's going to be here. Coming in December, Darren Holden from Riverdance originally, and the High Kings will be here. Keith Harkin's going to be here on December 12th. That'll be 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. It'll be 8 p.m. where he is over in Europe. And again, on Monday, yes, Nellie Olson, Allison Arngrim. She is a blast. She's here on Monday. That's just the start of it all. And again, Stephen Chen, the brilliant cellist, is here on Saturday. Good stuff. This is your friend and host, Jim Masters. Thanking you for your time this time. Till next time. Thanks for being with us on this episode. 3 hours and 5 minutes in the book. Boy, you guys talk a lot. And it'll be a pleasure to see you on Saturday, if not sooner, with a pop-up show. Good night, lovelies. Please stay safe. Yes, it's going to be great. We actually have 2 Allisons back to back. We have Allison Franzetti. She's a brilliant actress, and more coming up on Sunday. And then we have Allison Arngrim, who played Nellie Olson on Little House on the Prairie, and much more beyond that on Monday. So it's going to be back-to-back Allisons, Sunday and Monday. All right, gang. Love you guys, and we will see you soon. All right, here comes the music for Jenna Zen in Allentown. Get ready to jump, and happy holidays, everybody. And we will see you Saturday, if not sooner. Again, if we do a pop-up show, we will post it on Facebook and YouTube if we do one. And if you're there, you're there. If you're not, We will see you on Saturday. If we don't do one because we're tied up and crazy busy, or we're sleeping, then we'll see you Saturday. Love you all. Happiest of Thanksgivings. Blessings to you all. And thanks again for tonight. Hope everyone has a great day. Love you too. Thank you, Mona. We appreciate that. Good night, gang. You're the best. Continue to spread the word. Share the levity. Tell everybody about our show. That's what helps the show. Love that YouTube page. Subscribe if you can. And you can also find me on Facebook at Jim Masters TV, Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope and Twitch, all at Jim Masters TV. Have a pleasant night and a very, very happy Thanksgiving. Goodbye. Love to you all. No, I won't say goodbye, right? We don't say goodbye on the show. We say see you later. See you later. You take care. We'll see you Saturday, if not sooner. The longest goodbyes in history. I think I should be in the Guinness Book of Records for the longest goodbyes for an end to a program episode. All right, that's our cue. Ready to beg wiggle? Hit it. All right, gang, singers and orchestra, get ready to hit it. Jen's waiting in Allentown. Good night, guys. Love you all. See you Saturday, if not sooner, on the Jim Masters Show live. Take care and happy Thanksgiving. Bye-bye.